This podcast is brought to you by JList.com. Guys and girls, we all love our Pokemon. And JList and JBox.com has a ton of Pokemon-related merchandise, including all sorts of plushies. And we all love our cute little soft plushies. Pretty much any version of Eevee you could want. Pikachu, Snorlax, Cubone, Mew. Some of the cutest Charmanders, Bulbasaurs, and Squirtles you're ever going to see. And of course, who could forget about Psyduck? In different versions, they have Moon Madu and normal plushie versions available, and neck pillows for those of you that like to have a nice supported neck when you're traveling. All for $17 or less, and some as low as $10. So head over to JList or JBox.com right now and check out their huge selection of Pokemon-related merchandise. Again, that's JList or JBox.com. And now it's time to start the podcast.
You're listening to the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Take your anime addiction to the next level at aaapodcast.com/join. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 521st episode of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. My name is Mason, and I'm in charge of steering the party wagon today. With me are three fine turtles. With me is our Michelangelo of the group, Enzo. How's it going, my friend?
What's up, fam? It's going good. I'm just happy to be doing the podcast. It's a blessing to have this interaction with y'all, man. I hope everyone's good and healthy on this day when you're listening. That's it.
Next up, we have our Donatello, Mandi. How's it going?
Why am I Donatello?
Because he's got a cool staff.
Oh, is that
That's
me?
how it be.
I have a good staff, guys.
Man, you got a
Let me
good
impress you with my staff.
stuff. Show them that stuff, dude.
Michelangelo is always my favorite, though. I am sad.
It's just how it be. And finally, the leader, the most turtle-esque among us with that chrome dome,
That
Splinter
Chrono.
himself, Mitsugi. How's it going?
You say I'm Splinter?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Cowabunga. Well, no. Splinter would be like,
well.
oh, no. You know do Cowabunga. Oh, no. You know Cowabunga. You eat your pizza. It's good. It's good.
And despite this off-the-wall intro, we are here actually to make your anime addiction so much worse. You can find us at aapodcast.com/join, where you can see not only these great, anime episodes, but also our hentai episodes, our hobby addicts, after parties, hundreds and hundreds of bonus content for you to take place in if you want. Where you can also follow us on social media. We have a Twitch where people watch us live on Sundays at 5 p.m. EST, on Facebook, or where the coolest kids go, which is Discord, which you can find a link to at the top of our main website, which has all sorts of watch parties and chats and clubs and happenings to keep you occupied in this time.
I went on the Discord last night at at midnight, and there were 14 people watching anime from the new season together.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is so good. I like to see that. That was good. Get on the Discord.
Yeah, the seasonal watch party every Saturday night at 9:30 EST. We pick a bunch of favorites from the new season and watch those. We also have Anime Club. The next meeting is going to be on May 6th, which is a Wednesday. And we're going to be watching the full series of Habane Renmei, which is an absolute classic.
Oh,
You can
baby.
Watch it on Funimation and Hulu. And it's not the best show for binging, so start on it now if you wanna join. But you just stop on in, and if you're not sure how it works, just ask us, and we'll give you all the details.
We also have my manga club. Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say?
I was just saying, I'm just glad none of us have to burst angel wings out through our back, because that shit is painful looking at that anime. That was that second episode. Oh.
Could I fly afterwards? It might be worth it.
The sad part is they can't fly. So
That's true.
you get nothing out of it at all. Just pain
I
and
just
suffering.
get some glorious wings.
I was gonna say the
Kind of
cosplay
cosplay.
game's strong.
Yeah.
I get
Speaking
one
of
wing.
which,
Yeah, so my manga club is also coming up this Wednesday, the 29th, and we'll be reading volumes 1 and 2 of Complex Age, a manga about older women who love cosplay. So yeah, if you read that and come join us on Wednesday, you just gotta jump into the Manga Club voice chat at 10 p.m. EST, and we'll sit there and have a very laid back chat about manga, and it'll be fun. And I'm not sure what the next one will be, but we also announced the next manga at the Manga Club, so come join us.
Come join. And to be fair, Discord is more than just watch parties and clubs. We have channels about video games, health and sports, memes and animals. We even have an 18 plus channel where people ask for sauce, my food channel. And it's and so much more. So there's so much stuff to keep you occupied and hang out with. And it's don't be scared. Just come on by. I highly encourage people to check it out. But enough of all that housekeeping.
I won't bite hard.
Today's episode is chock-full of more anime recommendations and seasonal impressions because spring 2020 is upon us and we have our round 2 of impressions. We have Sing For Me Yesterday.
Sing Yesterday for me. Yeah.
That's the one. Brand New Animal. Art Ghost in the Shell 2045. And help me out on this one because what's the English title on it?
It's like Boss, it's time for battle or something like that.
Okay. Shachou.
Time to duel?
San Battle no Jikan desu.
Battle no Jikan.
Our review of Legend of the Galactic Heroes Season 2. Ooh,
There's going to be some debates about best boys.
Oh boy.
Indeed. That's the review you all came here for. So strap in, stay tuned, and if we have nothing else, let's get to the big news of the week.
大ニュースです。It's time for big news of the week.
Mandy.
Oh, I didn't know you put me on this. I didn't put this in here. So the big news for this week is Sony develops One Punch Man Hollywood live action film. I saw some news on this on Twitter. People were very mixed opinions on this one. But the known staff is Sony Pictures. The screenwriter for this one is Scott Rosenberg and film producer Jeff Pinkner, known for writing Venom and the Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle movie.
Yep.
So Avi Arad, and who was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and Adi Arad from Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance of Arad Productions are producing the film. And yeah, so One Punch Man, we've done a review on it in the past. It's a very big, very popular manga.
Yeah.
And originally launched, the webcomic originally launched back in July of 2009. And Shueisha published the 21st volume on December 4th of last year. So it's still going. And we recently reviewed season 2, which was something.
Which was a big yikes
It was something.
in industry terms.
I think we can agree that
You
the
don't like
live
eating
action
dog
has
shit?
better animation, right?
Yeah, the live action will definitely have better animation.
So yeah, the altogether is sold over 20 million copies are currently in circulation. And the first season was adapted by Madhouse into a 12-episode anime, which we have reviewed in the past very positively, because it's a very well-beloved series. But yeah, how do you guys feel about this live action?
Listen,
Okay, go ahead.
I want you to know this is actually breaking news. I didn't want to. I've been trying to hold this in like all the last 2 weeks, but I am officially in negotiations for the role of Saitama. They decided that I am just bald enough and just muscular enough and just barely young enough, because I'm getting kind of old, to play Saitama. So I don't want to get anybody excited, but yeah.
You're on the
so
list. You're on the list.
I'm on the list. I'm on the
You're
list
on the list.
in my own head.
You're like you're on the A list. I'm sure. Like with those arms, with that body.
I
with
did
that
so-
head?
I did cosplay Saitama once. It went pretty
Yeah,
well.
It looked great. It looked pretty good.
All you have to do is be bald. So I mean, yeah.
You've been doing that since like '92, easily.
Oh man.
Mitch just said all bald people look alike.
Oh, yeah. Well,
That's what he just said.
we are all beautiful. So
Yeah. Ooh,
That's what he just
good save.
implied. There's
Good
a
save.
difference.
Good save. Whether this thing will be good, here's the thing with One Punch Man. I think it'll fully depend on what they make the conflict. I think he's not a hero that's hard to produce. in terms of like making him faithful. Like, buff dude that's bald and has a really easy costume. Like he doesn't have any special powers, and speed up type things can be done well in post. So I think it'll depend on how big they go with the villain. If the villain is whack and corny and undeserving of the tone that is One Punch Man, then I think it will flop. It's kind of worrisome that the guy that wrote for Venom is doing it because Venom wasn't the best movie.
Venom,
But
Venom, Venom, Venom.
Venom,
But I also
Venom.
wonder if Venom's comedy is a good match for One Punch Man, though.
Ooh, good point. It could be.
I could see this going a lot in the same way that the recent Shazam movie went. I don't know if you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
saw that. That
Oh,
was a
totally.
very similar like superhero movie, but it was had one foot in being more mature and one foot in being just a goofy concept that was out of left field and somehow
Mhm.
worked. So I think if they kind of go in that direction, they might
Mhm.
find success.
Yeah, yeah, good points. Yeah, good points. So I think at the moment my conclusion is like I'm down for the trailer. Like I'll look forward to the trailer. I want to see what that looks like when this is up and getting filmed and stuff. So we'll see.
Chat
I
wants to know
guess.
who should play Genos. I don't know.
I
I don't
don't
know.
know.
It's
Zac
really hard
Efron?
to think of any like live action people who look like these characters. I don't know. It'd be really hard. This movie is gonna need so much like CG in it. It's
Yep.
Yeah.
like special
Yeah.
effects. It's gonna be insane. I
Yeah.
don't know. That's worrisome.
I was just gonna say that like these movies don't seem to do. They don't do super well. I'm like,
Yeah.
even the Alita movie only made like what between 300 and 400 million, I think. So CG is so expensive, and to make the movie look good, they're gonna have to spend a lot of money, and I just don't know if they're gonna be willing to throw the money at it because I don't know if they'll probably think it's a big risk.
They could lean into like the goofiness of it though. Like I'm just picturing like the crab villain, like in like
Mhm.
episode 1 or 2, where he like jumps over and like pulls his eye out or whatever. Like if they lean into like just making it kind of goofy and like doofy looking, like it could work.
Mm.
It'll come down to the writing team and the villain. I tell you.
Okay.
I know, like, but we
Yeah.
do like superhero movies are huge over here.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but like I think the difference is that One Punch Man's villains are so ridiculous looking. Like Mason
Right,
just
right,
mentioned
right.
the crab. So I don't know. It's gonna be
Or
difficult.
the Diesel Head, whatever, the guys who like merged with his car because he loves cars so
yeah,
much.
yeah.
It's like you can't make that look good. You just
Mhm.
can't.
No.
The guy who's like part mole looking, like the fly woman. It's gonna be or mosquito woman.
Right, mosquito. Like I don't
Yeah.
think, like how do you
It's
do
gonna
that?
be weird.
Yeah, definitely adaptable in anime world, but live action we'll have to see, dude. The trailer's
Yeah.
gonna give us a lot about what's gonna be like. I think.
I'm scared it's gonna be like that recent JoJo movie live action.
Mhm.
We'll see.
There
That's
may-
another property that should never come to live action.
No,
Yeah.
it should never. That's cursed. That's a cursed idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like they're making a lot of stuff into anime recently, and maybe it's probably because anime is becoming, 20 years too late popular in like high school, which is, instead of being like stepped on and made fun of for liking Magic the Gathering and anime, now you're cool because of it, which is just too cruel to even talk about. But what else do you guys think that they will, or would you like to see made into an anime? Because it seems like if they're willing to do One Punch Man, let's face it, they're
You
probably
mean a live action?
yeah, live action. If they're willing to do One Punch Man, they're probably willing to do a lot more too. So, any wish lists?
See, the problem
Fuck,
is
dude,
most of
I
the
don't
ones
know.
that I think of would be dramas. Those are the ones that are going to be the best live actions, but
Yeah.
those are not the most popular ones. I don't know,
Yeah.
it'd be hard. I actually think My Hero would be easier to adapt into a live action than One Punch Man. Because
Yes.
at least My Hero's characters are not as goofy looking as One Punch
Wild.
Man.
Yeah.
Something about
Yeah.
like the realism of them like having to like choose their like
Yeah.
costumes and stuff like lends it a sense of groundness to it.
Yeah, most of the I just went through my head and I had like my favorite anime go through my head, and they all have like a lot of them have live action movie or series adaptations already that weren't that bad. So I need to think about that question a lot more.
Hero Yui in the chat wants Demon Slayer. I think that can happen.
Mm, I don't know. I don't think so. It'd be difficult because a lot of people over in the West are not going to understand. Like, I don't know. It'd be really weird. It's so steep. Like the time period is just like it's set in such like a specific time period of Japan. I don't know if that would translate well into for like
Like I feel like
broader
Hollywood.
audience.
I feel like Hollywood would not
Hollywood, yeah.
even have Nezuko in that thing the whole movie. Like,
Oh,
in
yeah,
Canada.
yeah.
They would put her in like a hut, a safe place, and just left there while fuck, I forgot his name. Main guy. Tanjiro goes off and does the thing.
Good boy.
Because to like save money, whatever, you know. But, yeah.
Bokurano would be a super cool, edgy film. That could work.
When are we ever gonna get Monster? Monster would be so easy to adapt into.
They almost did it.
It's kind of like Space Brothers, where it's like I can already see it as a live action so much that
You don't want it to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Like it'd be good, it'd be solid, it'd be fine, but
I think
yeah,
that
Someone said Silver Spoon in the chat. I would love if Silver Spoon had a live action drama, like a live action movie. It'd be like a feel good movie. I think. I love that fucking.
I think.
I mean, I say I think because I'm accounting for the chance that it would also be bad. But no, I think it'd be a good one.
I don't know how well Slice of Life would adapt into live action. I don't know. It'd be weird.
I think that that La Blue Girl would make a good live action. Oh wait,
Oh yeah.
Me too.
they
I
already did
third
that. They already did that,
I third
complete
that.
with live action tentacles
Oh,
and everything else. So
talking about tentacles, you know what's next? Enzo Senpai's
Enzo Senpai's Notice Me tentacle.
皆さんおめでとうございます
sure, why
Join
not?
us in Enzo Senpai's Notice Me Corner.
Alright, this is Enzo Senpai's Notice Me Corner, where you guys can write in and let us know about some stuff you've accomplished or stuff you're working on or stuff you're proud of so that we can shower you with our anime-infested love. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, yeah. Shit.
This one is a little different in tone than the ones I've read in the past. It comes in from Gore X Grind X Goku, and they say, I know this segment is generally for folks who've accomplished big things, but I just rolled up the fattest Dutch ever, and I just want a little recognition from my main man, Senzo. Please don't notice me, Senpai. Seriously, this thing is a beauty. We talking Snoop level blunt status here. Now,
What?
if you'll excuse me, I'm about to go puff this.
Wow.
Well, congratulations, my man, on oh, it's not done yet. I'm about to go puff this cannon to the face and watch some Yu Yu Hakusho. Love y'all, addicts. Peace. So, word. Yo, I'm just gonna say Goku to abbreviate for short. Yo, Goku. Well, congratulations on rolling the fattest Dutch of all time. It does take a lot of dexterous fingers to do so. Truly. But I hope your next endeavor you also accomplish. You know what I mean? All right. Good luck out there, Goku. If you guys want to write into Enzo Senpai's Notice Me Corner,
For any reason, I guess.
Oh man.
This is probably let's have a higher standard, boys. But
And
I
before the next
appreciate
one
this
is, I took a great shit today.
I mean, it's
Me too,
a
actually.
segment for folks who've accomplished big things.
Yeah,
That was a big ass shit too.
go big shit. Anyway, Goku, congratulations on the Dutch rolling, my man. I hope you use those skills wisely. And I will say, if you guys want to write into Enzo Senpai's Notice Me Corner, go to aapodcast.com. At the top, there'll be a button that says mailbags and more. You click that, you hit the drop down, you pick this segment, you write in so that we can celebrate you on the next podcast. Gore Grind Goku, thanks for writing in. And that's it for Enzo Senpai's Notice Me Corner for this week.
I just have to do this because it's perfect.
I'm gonna sit on your face.
Oh, that too was too soft.
Yeah. I'm gonna sit on your face.
There you go.
I could just say it for you.
You could have. Wow, I don't even think to screen those because I know that we want to read all of them. So it's just like, okay, I don't read it. I was like, just drop it in there, but some humor.
I let that one go because he's hitting into Yu Yu Hakusho, and I'm like, all right, fine.
Wow,
It's topical.
That's
It's
true.
topical.
Oh,
All right.
well, I think this next segment is it a 13-week or 12?
I don't know. It's
How long is-
too many damn
And
weeks.
It's been an eternity of despair. That's what I'll
Yes.
say.
All right. Well, guys, it's time for this Mitsugi's Mom No, and we're going to try to get a winner this week. So let's kick it.
go.
It's time for Does Mitsugi's Mom Know? The game show that pits Mitsugi's unassuming mother against anime's most basic questions. Now here are your hosts, the Anime Addicts. Whoa, it's time for Does Mitsugi's Mom Know once again. And who do we have on the phone playing with? Who is our victim for this week?
Yo, what's up, my man? I'm doing all right, bro. Thanks for being here.
Do me a favor real quick and raise your volume just a little bit so we can hear you a little better. We want to be able to hear the sultry tones.
Ooh, that's good.
All right, nice.
Perfect. It's so much better. So thanks so much for joining us. Hey, where are you calling from today?
I am calling from just outside of Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh boy. You're right up there in the neighborhood with Enzo and Mason, sort of. So well.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for playing. Hey, you have a lot on your shoulders this week because
I feel the pressure.
you to get into the seat you're in, you stepped over many bodies of past failures, and we need a big win today. So I know you know how to play this, but I'm gonna say the rules again for people listening for the first time. My mother, she knows some things about anime, but not too many things, just enough to be dangerous. And so today I'm going to be playing questions about anime to her, and you will guess whether or not she knows the answers to these basic anime questions. And if you get 3 out of 5 right, we'll talk and we'll try to get you a sunny day every day for the next 7 days. How does that sound?
That sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you a sample question here just for the players at home, and we'll see if you can get your luck started with this one. Are you ready?
Sweet. We'll warm up. Let's do it.
In Dragon Ball Z, after what type of real-life objects are the characters named? Dragon Ball Z, if aficionados will know that it's food, most of them are named after food.
Right. I know. Dragon Ball Z was big in your household, but I feel like in the past your mom has gotten some pretty easy Dragon Ball Z questions wrong. So I'm gonna say she does not know.
Some
Like
logical
the history
deductive
he's coming
reasoning.
in with.
It's
Coming
okay.
in with
We got some science.
research.
Yeah.
He's been watching the tapes.
So yeah, he's been watching film. All right, let's see if she knows the answer. In Dragon Ball Z, after what type of real-life objects are the characters named?
Body parts.
They're named after food. I think Vegeta is like vegetable. Body parts. So that would be a correct answer. But of course, that doesn't count. So
Of course.
so.
But you got a solid first step. Solid
Exactly.
First step.
What about Trunks? Is that a food?
I don't know.
That's a body part. She's not wrong.
I just know
You're
Gohan
a
is
tree.
like rice and Piccolo is I don't know.
Kakarot is carrot.
Kakarot is carrot. Yeah. Who the hell knows? Anyway, are you ready for the real thing?
The body parts of the vegetables.
Oh, that's a
Big
stretch.
brain,
Chunk of the
big
carrot.
brain.
Gotcha.
Your mom was big brain on that one.
Yeah, she went one layer deep. Are you ready for the real thing?
I'm ready. I tend
Let's
to
go.
do well when I'm listening along, so I intend to get every question wrong
Oh,
since I'm
oh.
usually doing well. So
Oh,
Oh,
Okay,
damn.
Well, that's a lot of faith. All right.
All right, well, here's some good luck for you.
Good luck, lucky player. With me, it's
Oh.
you never know.
All right, here we go.
Mom drop. That's
That's gonna happen.
amazing.
Here
that's all
we
I
go.
needed.
Let's go.
In the film Akira, what kind of vehicle does Kaneda drive? Everybody knows it's a motorcycle, a very badass motorcycle.
Yeah, I feel like there's no way that she could get this one wrong. It's so iconic. I have to say she knows.
With the bike slide and everything else.
Exactly. I have to say she knows. Lock it in.
Lock it in, he says. Ooh, with
Capital L, my
with
guy.
he throws it down with authority. Here we go. In the film Akira, what kind of vehicle does Kaneda drive?
A Hummer.
Oh my God.
No, it's a motorcycle.
Oh.
A very cool one. Oh my God.
She
A
said
Hummer.
Hummer, baby. A
I
Hummer.
like how
Said a
much she was
Hummer.
trying to tee it up too. Like she didn't say a car. She's like a 2008 Hummer
Yeah.
H3 with a gold.
Oh, I couldn't
No
even
one-
be on the
What?
further end of the spectrum.
I would never
Oh,
have guessed
man.
her answer. Oh my god.
No.
Okay. Well, you know what? That one was just like a fluke, right? And
Oh.
so from here on out, it's smooth sailing. And I believe.
All right, sounds good to me.
I believe. Are you ready for this? We're gonna bury that one in the backyard. You ready for the second question?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Kuroko is the star of an anime featuring what sport? One of Mandy's favorites. Oh, and we will give you a phone a friend of someone other than me.
Of course.
Of course.
Well, I feel like I know you're a big sports anime fan, but I feel like the ones you would have passed on to her, or the ones she would have watched, would be baseball. So that makes me want to say she won't know that. And I'm gonna save my phone a friend. I'm pretty sure she doesn't know.
He's analyzing. I like it.
This is we have a man of logic here.
Very analytical. Okay.
Yeah.
He says she does not know it. Am I locking that in?
Yeah, lock it in.
Boom.
Kuroko is the star of an anime featuring what sport?
Well, that's the one that's about the volleyball team.
Oh, baby. Oh,
Came
baby.
off so
Close,
confident.
She
She
had the
was so
confidence going in
confident.
there, That was
Oh,
scary.
I almost shit myself, TBH.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude.
seriously.
Dude, you almost shit yourself?
Oh, kind of, man. I'll let you know if it happens.
Okay, all right.
Why don't you
okay.
send that into NZ
Enzo
Senpai's notice me
Senpai's-
corner?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well,
Yourself right in.
you're on the board. You're on the board. Simplify the game. You need to get 2 out of 3 now. Are you ready for the third question?
Let's do it.
All right, let's get some good luck here. In Fully Cooley, what part of Naota's body does a robot emerge? It's his forehead, of course. Classic. Fully Cooley.
I gotta say she doesn't know that. That's just. I don't think she's gonna guess that. I think to to even make a bolder guess, I think she's going to say stomach.
Wow.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah,
Go
so
with
I'm
the
gonna
she
lock
doesn't
in
know
she does
approach
not
on
know.
everything.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, she doesn't know it.
All right, you're calling the bank shot and horse, so to speak.
Oh yeah.
And I'm locking it in, I think. Yes?
Oh yeah, lock it in.
Here we go. In
Oh,
Fully
baby.
Cooley, what part of Naota's body does a robot emerge?
His belly.
It's actually his forehead.
Bonus points for that. Shit.
Wow.
The children are going wild. 2 in a row.
shit today.
Whoa.
Well
Oh my
done.
goodness!
Oh,
I
man.
clipped the crap out of my mic on that one. I was so
Yeah, me
excited.
too.
Oh.
Listen,
So did I.
I'm so excited to have a possible winner here that my nips are rock hard.
Dude, I'm losing my mind.
Enzo
we haven't seen
Stay
the
cool.
daylight
Stay
of
cool.
victory. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Gotta
Enzo
cross the
took
finish
it-
I need a
line.
masseuse over here.
Enzo took a shit in his chair.
Dude, it's just the tip is out, baby. Just the
Okay,
tip.
just the turtle head.
Turtle.
All right.
Turtle.
He's,
Yeah.
he's prairie dogging it.
Yeah, we're
Alright.
totally in right now.
Are you ready for your potential game-winning question?
I'm ready. I've never been more ready.
Oh my god. Here we go.
In Death Note, what kind of fruit does the death god Ryuk love to eat?
Oh my god.
All right. So obviously it's apples.
Yeah.
So we all know that Mitsugi is not the biggest Death Note fan. But does that mean his mom has seen it?
She
I
could
think-
be a
I
big
think-
Willem Dafoe fan.
Yeah, that's also true. All right, I think. All right, I think I'm gonna use my phone a friend. All right, Enzo.
Oh god. Okay.
At Enzo Badia. What are you thinking?
Yes. Me and Zabadia. So here's the thing. Okay. You have to think about it in 2 ways, right? Either has she seen it, and the likelihood that her guess is apple, because apple is such a common fruit. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
here's
true.
So you have to compare the 2 possibilities here. One, Mitz does not like Death Note that much, if I recall. So, but in order to not like something, he must have watched it. And Death Note came out during the golden era of anime, in the times in which I think Mitz was watching anime with his mother. I don't know, perhaps. So, but does she remember that it's apple? And I don't think the likelihood of apple is high enough to give in to this. So I think she won't know that it's apple.
All right, so taking all that into consideration, I think she does know.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Was the question food or was it specifically fruit?
I think it was
It
fruit.
was.
Was it fruit? Okay.
I'll play the question
get a
for
really
you.
lucky
I'll
guess.
play it again for you if you want.
No, I'm confident.
Oh, dude.
Oh,
Look at it,
shit.
Apple.
Well, he's locking it in. She knows. He's locking it in. In Death Note, what kind of fruit does the death god Ryuk love to eat?
Grapes.
Oh,
He loves to eat apples.
Oh, I almost said that.
Oh my God! Should have listened to
Oh, she almost
Enzo.
said it.
She almost
She
said that.
almost said it. Oh,
S.
I'm not-
Donnelly over here is like L. You know, she's got him Kira pinned down. He's doing all the logistics. All of a sudden, he's like, I'm gonna take this grape and eat it and just blow your strategy out of the water.
Yep.
yeah,
I'm not,
yeah. I
I'm
hope
not
I'm
gonna
not
say-
L because he didn't turn out too well in that. So
No.
no spoilers. No
All
spoilers.
right.
He wasn't looking too good, Mr. Stark.
Final question. This is it.
Ooh.
This is for all the marbles.
Oh my god.
You ready
All
for
right.
your last question? This is the clincher.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
In Grave of the Fireflies, how is the mother of Seita and Setsuko killed?
She knows this. Oh, she has to know. I know your mom. I know she went on that Ghibli binge a couple years ago. So I feel like a classic like Grave of the Fireflies. I feel like she has to know it.
She has seen most Ghibli movies. The chat is spamming E's. There's so much support.
I gotta trust my gut on it. I'm gonna say she knows.
All right, she knows it.
She
Am,
knows.
am I locking you in?
Locking it in.
Here we go, dude.
In Grave of the Fireflies, how is the mother of Seita and Setsuko killed?
Oh, I should know this one. I'm pretty sure she was shot with a gun, with a rifle. Or something.
I'm pretty sure she dies from burns from the firebombing.
Heck, I just watched that.
My heart.
Oh God! We were so close.
Listen.
Smoked on a
If it
Ghibli
wasn't
question.
sixth grade, I don't know.
Yeah. When she hit the I should have known that, I literally dropped. I was like, oh, it's all over for me.
Oh,
I'm
man.
not gonna say I knew the answer to one of your questions, but the facts will speak for themselves, and history will remember you as another loser in our game. As Donnelly.
Oh,
Can
my
we
heart.
just give him props though for calling that stomach
Yeah.
Yeah.
shot?
Oh,
Yeah,
That
that's
should be
pretty
worth
good.
Double points.
Oh yeah, I feel like that was a double point, but you know what? It's whatever. We'll have the asterisk on it. No big deal.
yeah, they have an asterisk on this one. Sure.
Oh, for sure.
All right.
for
Well,
sure an asterisk.
thank you for being our latest victim, and you are now another
Sorry
corpse.
to the chat that I could not deliver a dub.
Wow.
It was an engaging loss,
was.
all the same though, and we
Hey.
appreciate it.
We try our best, you know. Up here in the Northeast, we do what we can.
Do what we can.
All right, guys.
But the streak continues.
Yep. Thanks so much for calling in. We appreciate you. Thanks for keep
Yeah,
listening.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. You
Thanks
take
for all
care.
the support, man.
Yeah.
Have a
See you
good
guys.
Bye.
So close with that game. So close.
Man, it's like I knew one of the answers.
There we
It's
go.
like I knew. It's like
The
I knew.
cameras are messed up, but that's okay.
The cameras are a little messed up.
Yeah, a little messed up.
It's a little
We're good.
We're trying.
it.
We're coming back.
There we go. We're good.
Yeah,
All
we're
right. Well, you know what? We'll have a winner next time. I have no more for you guys to play for you guys. I only prepared 5 questions, but all right.
Aw.
Let's keep it
Yeah,
rolling.
the end, though. Well, we have questions for you, listener. We have our in-show weekly trivia, but first we have our website trivia, which you can go to
Oh,
at
yeah.
aaapodcast.com. Scroll all the way to the bottom. We have a picture with a theme, and if you can guess the show that picture is from, you can win a prize. The answer from last week was Destiny of the Shrine Maiden, and the winner for the week was Chibi Rob.
Ooh.
Yay, Chibi.
Hey, my man. And
My
the
man.
theme remains Anime Shrine Maiden. So go over to our website and check it out if you want to participate for fabulous prizes.
Oh yeah.
Congrats. We also have our in-show trivia question, which we will answer after the break. The question is, Yoshiki Tanaka is the original creator of Legend of Galactic Heroes. Other war-centric property is he the original creator of? It's a good question, so ponder it, and we'll answer it after the break. It's Yang Wing, please. Bizarre Adventure.
Hey, Anime Addicts, Mitsugi's here, bringing you your first round of anime news. Leading us off with, well, let's just get the COVID-19 news out of the way real quick here. Chibi Maruko-chan, the anime is now delayed due to COVID-19. Kingdom Season 3 and Duel Masters King are both delayed. Mukul Dreamy TV anime is delayed. Major Second anime is still delayed. That second season of that anime. Kirato Pre-chan anime is now delayed. The regular Magic High School is delayed all the way back to October due to COVID-19. The Promised Neverland Season 2 is delayed clear back to January 2021 currently due to COVID-19. Several tokusatsu films, and another film, Tonkatsu DJ Agetaro film is delayed due to COVID-19. And there's other things as well. So the list continues to pile. Next up, Kamitachi ni Hiro Wareta Otoko TV anime is airing in the fall of 2020. Hobby Japan announced that there is a website out for Kamitachi ni Hiro Wareta Otoko by the Grace of the Gods, a TV anime that is going to be coming out. It's going to be distributed by Funimation. It's going to premiere in the fall of 2020. Takeyuki Yanase is going to be directing the anime at Maho TV. And Kazuyuki Fudeyasu, who worked on That Time I Was Reincarnated as a Slime and other shonen shows, is also in charge of the series doing the composition and the scripts. So it's adapting Roy's adventure fantasy light novel, which originally launched back in 2015 on the Shousetsuka ni Naro website. So it has 250 million views online. So if you're a fan of this property, Kamitachi ni Hiro Wareta Otoko, by the Grace of Gods, look out for that coming out in the fall of 2020. Next up, another new anime adaptation, this time potentially a rock climbing anime here at the synopsis. Konomi Kasahara, a high school girl, has made a big name for herself after winning numerous competitive puzzle game tournaments. The story begins when she finds a sports club dedicated to climbing. Using special skills other than that of puzzle games, Kasahara begins getting fascinated with climbing. So that we'll have to see what kind of a anime that is. The director, Tetsuro Amino of Nijiro Days and Break Blade, is going to be doing the directing, and the studio is by Blade. So interesting little sports premise show coming out sometime in the future. And next up and lastly, due to the drain on the anime industry and getting background artists and other anime staff, Sunrise Studios is establishing a school for background art and aims to address that shortage of background artists in the anime industry. Jiro Kuono, who worked as a background artist for Akira and was the art director of Megalobox, is going to serve as an instructor at the school. And the school will be getting a subsidy of about $9,300 per month for students to pay for their daily expenses, and those who graduate from high school in Japan in March 2021, or those between ages of 18 and 25 with a high school diploma will be eligible to apply to participate in learning at the school. This is Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break. And now we're going to get back to the podcast right now. Hey, anime addicts. So many of us love our Pokemon, and JList and JBox.com are a fantastic place for you to find all sorts of Pokemon merchandise, including adorable plushies you can enjoy around your house. They have so many to choose from. Pretty much every version of Eevee you could ever want. Pikachu, Snorlax, Cubone, adorable versions of Mew, Charmander, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, Psyduck. So many to choose from in Maru and normal plushie versions, and they even have neck pillows so you can look super cute while you're traveling. All for $17 or less, and some of these are even as low as $10. So head over to JList or JBox.com right now. You can browse their huge selection of Pokemon-related merchandise, find something cute for yourself, and you'll be supporting the podcast as well. Again, that's over at JList and JBox.com.
Hey, Steve Bloom here, voice of Spike Spiegel, Vincent Valentine, Leron from Gurren Lagann, Guillerman from Digimon, and a bunch of other crap. And I am a total anime addict, dude. Tune in, or else.
You know me? Of course!
news break. We asked you a question before the break, and that question was: Yoshiki Tanaka is the original creator of Legend of the Galactic Heroes. What other war-centric property is he the original creator of? And the answer to that one, in case you didn't know, is Arslan Senki, a recent anime that I kind of liked for the most part. Aside from the CG horses, not the best CG horses.
Anime has trouble with CG horses.
Yeah, anime be wilding on CG horses, not in the good way. But you know what segment of our podcast does not
Have any CG horses?
any CG horses, baby? Let them know, man.
Until I do Steel Ball Run.
Oh, yeah, fuck, you're right. Let them know.
And now, let's take a minute for the Manga Minute with Mandi.
This is Mandy's Manga Minute, where I take a minute to tell you about a manga and help you find something new to read. And this one is called My Androgynous Boyfriend. Wako and her androgynous boyfriend don't exactly have the most traditional of relationships. She spends her days working hard in the world of publishing, while he spends his time obsessing over fashion and makeup, all with the goal of making himself beautiful just for her. This romantic slice-of-life story is about love, relationships, and breaking with tradition. So My Androgynous Boyfriend is a josei slice of life, written and illustrated by Tame Kao. It is still currently publishing, with one volume currently available in English, both digitally and in print. I went into this manga with very low expectations, and I came out of it actually very delighted. It was far more heartwarming, of a heartwarming romance than I was anticipating. And the title leads you to believe that the entire focus of the manga is going to be on how Wako's boyfriend is androgynous. And while it does mention it a few times, like Wako's co-workers are commenting that they thought she was dating another woman, but it doesn't dwell on it, and it doesn't treat it as something abnormal. There hasn't been any unnecessary drama between the characters, and the first volume illustrates how well they work together. And they have a very adult relationship, then they support each other, and Wako's boyfriend, Meguru, does have a sort of an idol position in his modeling job, but he refuses to hide the fact that he has a girlfriend and wants nothing more than to show off to everybody how much he loves this woman. And he tries very hard to make Wako happy by surprising her or helping her relax after work. And Wako is a very open and honest person, often complaining to Meguru all about her workday, and she loves trying to boost his confidence. And they have such an adorable relationship. And the manga also endears you to them through lighthearted comedy, like a very tiring visit to IKEA. I love that chapter; it was so cute. But I really enjoyed the first volume of this manga, and I plan on continuing it. And I would recommend it to people who are looking for a manga about adult relationships that are not bogged down by any drama. So if you're wanting like a drama-heavy romance, this is not it for you. But this is really cute though. So yeah.
That sounds really fucking. You know that I would love this shit.
Probably. Yeah, it's super cute. Like I went into it expecting drama and just the whole thing to be a joke, and it wasn't at all. It was really cute, adorable.
Awesome. Yeah. Fuck yeah, cute manga, man. Need more of that in my life, honestly. But yeah, what we got next? We got the Spice Lord time.
Game time.
Game time.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
That's right. We have our anime argument segment where you can leave your argument at aapodcast.com. Go to the mailbag and drop in your hot take, unpopular opinion, or whatever spicy thoughts you have that we will discuss. Our first one today comes from Cream Puff, and they write, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure manga are better with the colors added, so more so than their black or white counterparts.
Ooh.
So essentially, there's two things to this. There's the official English releases by Viz Media, which have the hardcover JoJo-nium, it's called like a Kanzeiban releases. They are really well done. They look nice. They feel great. They have a nice heft to it.
I have all of them. They look beautiful.
Part 4 is coming out. I think actually Volume 5 comes out next week when I'm talking this. And all 7 of Part 4 are coming out by the end of the year. So if you want like a physical version of JoJo, that's the way to go. And it's phenomenal. But what Cream Puff is referring to is the online community of JoJo's Colored Adventure, which goes through and colors every single panel and has all the scans up in pretty good quality. And the question is that better than the black and white version? And as much as I like the purest of the way that the author intended, it actually is better with the colors. I brought up an example from part 7, and you can see as terribly.
Oh, look at that gyro!
You have like a character on a horse with another character across his lap with like a character in the background. There's just so much going on, and it's hard to differentiate like the limbs from one another because there's so much going on that sometimes you look at an image and you're like, oh, who is this leg even attached to? Because there's so much flair. And actually the colored versions, although not like quite the authentic and Araki's intent, just do make things a lot cleaner and help communicate things. So especially the later volumes, I definitely recommend checking out JoJo's Colored Adventure if you want to see the best version of the manga. But don't forget to get the physical ones too, because they're still great.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I wasn't reading them for a while because, of course, they're not legal. But I did read all Steel Ball Run in the colored ones, and yeah, it looks fantastic. There are a lot of moments where I was like, man, I can't even imagine this in just the traditional manga style, because they would just be so confusing, especially with a lot when you get to some of the more intricate stands and just abilities going off. You're like, I cannot imagine this outside of color. But yeah, unfortunately, they're not legal, sadly.
Unfortunately, manga be manga. Yeah.
The Rohan at the Louvre, I hope I pronounce it correctly. I don't know. Louvre. That manga is hardback, and it's all in color. So I don't know. I think he has the ability to, I don't know, maybe eventually transition to color. I wish he would.
That'd be nice.
Because they're fantastic.
So good. Our second argument today, I'm gonna need all your guys' help.
This one's fucking spicy.
Oh, this is a spicy boy. Okay.
And I like takes like this. Okay, we'll see if I agree.
Right.
Comes from This Is Heavy, and they write, Outlaw Star is better than Cowboy Bebop. It has more interesting characters, actual character development, a fantastic setting, better action sequences, and a more enjoyable plot. The only thing better about Cowboy Bebop is the music. And this is somewhat related to our conversation on classics from last week. Enzo, do you want to go? It sounds like you were jumping on it.
My immediate reaction is no. But at the same time, that's like my knee-jerk reaction. But my more like tame reaction is that they're kind of, even though they're both bounty hunter anime, they're doing different things, kind of. And oh my god, dude, I don't even fucking know. Holy shit! Like,
he's in pain.
Yeah, well, because I love Outlaw Star. I love that anime big time. Like I say all the time, Gene Starlin is dope. I love his design. I love the Outlaw Star. I love the ED of Outlaw Star a lot. I still think about the ED all the time. But Bebop obviously has things that I literally have a Bebop tattoo. So like I was like, yes, I fucking love Bebop.
Do you?
Yeah,
on the forearm.
Oh, I don't remember.
It's the swordfish. It's like the swordfish with like a line going. Sorry, you can talk about your own tattoo. Sorry.
No, I appreciate it.
Mason knows your body better than you do.
Me, okay.
Oh shit. Spicy.
Listen, if someone like him knows my body better than me, I'm honored.
Big brain.
Okay. You know, it's okay. This is crazy. I literally tweeted today that I feel very small brain today, so this is really racking my fucking mind. But I think in terms of, because he says interesting characters and actual character development, I think that's a hard thing to tackle because these characters are starting from different places. Like the characters in Bebop are pretty broken from the get-go, and they're and half of them are spiraling and not towards a better place. They're spiraling towards darkness, while in All Star, like they're not really broken. They're obviously not living the most luxurious life, but they're not like traumatized per se. Unless I'm forgetting something in All Star, holy shit. But I think because of that, yes, Bebop is not progressing in a positive light most of the time. I like the journey they go on. It's a little darker than All Star, but I think that journey is more interesting because that subject matter is more interesting to me as a character study. All Star might have a cooler world, a world I would be more down to live in than Bebop's crazy outlaw type space world. But yeah, no, and I think better action sequences is because you see Spike fight a couple times with his kung fu drunk shit, but like it's not Bebop's not about the action sequences though. You know, they're not out to give you a stellar action performance. So that's why it's hard to compare the two. But I think in general, when you look at the objectives of both shows, I think Bebop takes the harder route and still executes well. So I think Bebop to me is better, but I mean that's all subjective though.
I think that Bebop I think Outlaw Star has a better story than Cowboy Bebop, and most of that just because personally I don't think Cowboy Bebop has much of a story. But
Right.
I think just about everything else about Bebop has Outlaw Star beat. Yeah, I mean, is Gene Starwood cooler than Spike? I don't know. They're both pretty cool. Cool. But I would say that, yeah. I mean, yeah, I gotta say, no. I think Bebop. I mean, Outlaw Star is fantastic. You know, it's probably to me, it's probably better than 8 out of 10 shows that you'll put in front of me. But I think Cowboy Bebop's just a little better, and that's not to say Bebop is some like, flawless diamond or something like that, because it definitely has flaws. But it's nah. I can't agree as much as I love Outlaw Star.
Mandy, do you have a take?
Oh no, I don't, because again, it's been so long since I've seen Outlaw Star, and I'm sorry, guys. I like Cowboy Bebop, but I don't have it wasn't like an important part of my anime history.
Totally
I
fine.
actually like Samurai Champloo more, so I don't have any opinions. Sorry.
No opinions from Mandy. Yeah. So I'll wrap it up. You guys said a lot of what I said. These shows came out same year, both by Studio Sunrise. So like these are like as apt for comparison as anything, and it's not even close. Bebop is so much better, like visually and like in the dialogue. It's so much sharper, and it's on a whole nother level from Outlaw Star. And I'm also not a big fan of magic systems in sci-fi universes, which Outlaw Star has. Gene is nowhere near as cool as Spike, and it lacks a lot of the charm that like Trigun, which is another show.
Though.
Gene's
We're
pretty
not
damn
talking
cool.
about that.
Well, I am.
Like Gene, like he's just
I
a loser. Like he loses the kids in like a card game, and then like he buys his debauchery in prostitutes instead of like charming his way. Like he's just not as cool. Listen, I can get why people who have like a setting and a plot, like that's an important part of stories to them, could definitely dig Outlaw Star in that component. But comparing them is the leagues apart. And to put it into perspective, Cowboy Bebop started airing in Adult Swim in in 1998, I think, and
That sounds about right.
And has been like rerun every year since. Like every year, you can rewatch all of Cowboy Bebop. Outlaw Star got canceled in favor of extra episodes of Inuyasha. When you're losing the Inuyasha, you're not even going up against Bebop.
Don't hate on Inuyasha.
Last thing, the bounties in Bebop are like millions and millions of wulong. In Outlaw Star, they're like a couple thousand wongs. Like, come on, those are rookie numbers. You gotta buff those numbers up.
I mean, would you rather have? I mean, do you not know exchange rates?
Listen, all I see is numbers. All I see is zeros, my dog.
Well, I'll just say that the Gilliam 5 is cooler than the Bebop. So,
I will say the ship is dope as fucking Outlaw Star.
I mean, it's a shiny
I'm not saying
candy
Outlaw
apple
Star
red
doesn't
grappling
have
ship.
awesome parts, but it ain't no Bebop.
The Bebop is literally a flying piece of shit in space. It is like self-described as a
swordfish tattoos.
trash heap ghetto ship.
It's got charm. It's got charm. It's got love. It's got bell peppers, and that's all you need in life to be happy. So I think we can move on. So,
but no beef.
I appreciate these very hot takes. I appreciate you sending them in. Please send your own, and we will give it its due shake. But with that, we can move on, I think.
Bebop's got no beef, but I got beef with you. No, I'm just kidding. All right.
Nice. That was nice.
Today, we're going to be doing impressions.
Impression time, believe it!
Oh my god, let's do it!
Yeah, so impressions, guys. So for anyone that's listening to this episode, it's their first episode ever of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast.
I'm
First of
sorry.
all, first of all, we're sorry because we're about to embark you on a journey that's kind of wild. And also, this is what we do every season when new shows come out. So we do impressions. Each of the hosts pick 5 anime. We each respectively watch the first 3 episodes of each anime we picked, and then we come together on the podcast to give our general impressions of them and whether we will keep them to review once the current season of the anime is over, or whether we will fail them, which only means that we're not reviewing them on the podcast. Sometimes we fail shows, but that doesn't mean we're not watching them. But that means we're watching them, but we think there are other shows that deserve a slot, or it's not worthy of a review, or it's a sequel, blah 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 blah, for various reasons that we will state. So on this episode, we're going to be doing impressions on spring 2020 anime, and these anime will be Sing Yesterday for Me, Brand New Animal, Art, Ghost in the Shell 2045, and Shachou-san Battle no Jinkan desu. Which I think Mitz translated roughly to "Boss, it's time for battle."
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that earlier.
I think literally it's President, it's time for battle.
Dope. But yeah, so each host will give their thoughts and whether they pass it or fail it. And I only have one today, so I can go in the middle. Mandy, you want to go first?
Mandy can go first.
All right, let's get it.
Okay, then I'll do Art first. I apologize. I actually wrote down a lot for this. I realized I wrote down so much.
This is the time. We gotta explain ourselves here.
Because there are so many things I like and dislike about this show. But you can watch it on Funimation, and it is being adapted by 7 arcs. It was a manga adaptation, and I did the manga for Manga Minute not that long ago. It was only like a few weeks ago. And the director is Takayuki Hamana, who directed The Beast Player Aaron, which I have not seen, but it's been on my watch list for a while. But so this is about a woman named Art, and she is in an aristocratic family during the Italian Renaissance period. And her mother wants her to get married for political reasons. You know, they need somebody to carry on the family name. But Art is obsessed with drawing, and her father lets her do it as a hobby. And they do a good job of clarifying that it's fine for women to do this as a hobby, but unfortunately during this time, a woman couldn't look for this as a career, and that's what Art wants to do. She wants to take it further and make a career out of it, and that's not really something that's supported in society, and because it would have been very unheard of. But Art hates that her mother and society are deciding what she can do with her future, so she runs away to find somebody who will train her. And she meets a man named Leo who paints for a living, and he agrees to take her in as his apprentice. And he works her very hard, and she is so determined to do anything he says in order to prove herself capable. And for things that I do like about this, I do appreciate that Art is so very determined and rebellious. She doesn't just accept things for the way they are, and that's a theme that I really love in media. And especially like we just did, or I watched all of Smile Down the Runway, and that's another reason why I love that anime, because the only way to make a change in the world is to fight for what you believe in and not to just accept the current state of society and what they tell you. And that's how progress is made. So that's something that I really liked about herself. And while the animation may not be mind-blowing, I do like her character design. There's some really nice backgrounds in there as well. I do like that some of the parts with Art drawing. There's a scene where Leo asks her to draw a scenery, and she has to do it so many times in order to get it right. And she was getting really frustrated with herself, but she was so determined to see it finished. But she does finally ask Leo, am I ever going to be good enough to do this? You keep denying it. And he explains to her that he could have accepted it the first time, but just tiny little changes and differences in it can change the entire piece. And so he asks her, who are you drawing for? And she realizes that she's only been drawing for herself to make herself happy. And since she has such a low bar, she's not really thinking about what's good for the client. So she rushes out to do it again, and she's able to do it perfectly this time. And he accepts it. And I thought that was really cool. And yeah, I like those parts of it. But the things that I disliked is that it's so heavy-handed to the point where it gets annoying. And it's like strange because those scenes are in the manga. And like I went back and read it again. I'm like, I don't remember it being this annoying. But in the manga, it's confined to one page. Where in the anime, it just kind of feels like it goes on and on too long. Because the second episode is like a constant stream of because I'm a girl or because you're a girl. And I was like, man, it's something that we know, but you don't have to keep reminding us that art is trying to fight against discrimination. We know that. We've already crossed that bridge and we know what she's doing. But I don't know, it can get really exhausting. And I did think they've lightened it up a little bit in episode 3, but unfortunately, I have to go off the first 3 episodes. And although it is set in the Italian Renaissance, it doesn't feel like a period piece at all, because there are some inconsistencies that to me felt a little weird. Like, for example, the first episode, this she's dressed up really nice because she's an aristocrat, and this guy who's clearly a commoner pushes her to the ground. And I was thinking, would a guy really do that knowing that he could be easily punished for something like that?
Literally killed.
Yeah, I'm like, does that make sense to me? But of course, this isn't like supposed to be a dark anime. It's not supposed to be historically accurate, so you can forgive it. Just it's supposed to meant to be more of a light series. So, but it's just an observation that I had, and of course, there are some people out there who are looking for a more period piece who might be irritated by that. But yeah, so man, overall, I think the anime is fine. I'm going to keep watching it for myself and hope that they lighten up a little bit on the heavy-handed messages. But for review, I think I'm going to be failing this for review. But I will keep you updated during free discussions on whether or not it improves. And it could very well improve vastly beyond the first 3 episodes. But yes, right now I just think it's just okay.
Shall not pass! Fucking love that drop.
It fits very nicely.
Yeah. Mandy, just real quick, I super agree. I watched all 3 episodes of Art too, and it's just like very consistently like the theme of like her being a girl being her biggest issue.
Yeah, and like I like that, but it's just that you don't have to keep telling me. I know.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
you have to say it once. I know what the issue is here. You can stop saying it. But yeah, it's okay.
All right. Would Mason or Mitz like to go next?
I can go. So I have this little ditty here called Shachou, battle no jikan desu, or President, it's time for battle. It's an anime that's based off of an RPG smartphone game. So, and in this world called, they don't really talk about the world a whole lot. Gatepia, I think it's called Gatepia. Mm-hmm. And in this world, there's a giant gate that sits at the center of the world, and then there's many like little gates all over the world. And there are these adventuring companies that go into gates, and they fight monsters that are called Muja, and they retrieve these like, they call them kirakuri, but I think they're like purchase orders or something. Like this whole anime is basically like a big business show. Like it's gonna bore the shit out of a lot of people. Because like right off the bat, their company, which is called Kibo Company, has no president because the president retired. And so they go and they ask the former president's son, Minato, I think his name is, to be the new president in his father's place. And they realize that, the company has no money. So they're like, they're talking about like balance sheets and shit like that, and income statements, and how there's no income and the cash flow is low and all this. And then like, well, what are we going to do? We're going to become insolvent. So they go, oh, well, wait, didn't the old president donate like a ton of shit that belonged to the company to some museum or whatnot? And so they go to the museum because they realize they don't have enough startup money to like get this business running. But he donated all this valuable armor and weapons and all this cool shit that you need to like go into dungeons and fight monsters and get the treasure at the bottom, kind of like .hack style. They go and they go and she's like, yeah, you can take back the donation or whatever, but there's an inheritance tax that you have to pay in order to collect the goods if you want to inherit it. and they go, we don't have enough money for the inheritance tax. And so they're like in this pickle. And the end of episode 2, there's some kind of a contest that is being held whereby a lot of companies from all over Gate Pia they're gonna compete, and they're gonna go down into this dungeon, and whoever can get to the bottom and get like the kirakuri, like the purchase order or whatever at the bottom first, is gonna win, and that'll be like enough money for them to, get the inheritance and then get rolling. So this is an anime that I feel like will appeal to me and Enzo especially, since we're both like deep in finance like all the time. Stuff like the kids like walking down the dungeon, and see, I was feeling kind of lukewarm about this anime until I got to episode 3. Like he's like just poking around at things in the dungeon, and he pulls like this plant out, and there's this one character that's with him. And by the way, the characters in this look super cute. Some of the girl characters are reminiscent of like almost like a Disgaea type style. The way that their outfits are done up and stuff, like the NPCs from Disgaea. So this kid the president pulls this plant out, and it looks like a mandrake root. And the one underling or whatever, I can't remember if it's a boy or a girl who says it, but they say, "Oh my God, that's this plant that anybody who hears its dying scream will be cursed with business restructuring for the next year." And I was like, that is hilarious. And so he grabs the plant and he runs off the screen so it'll scream somewhere where they can't hear it. Then they get to the boss fight at the bottom, and the boss fight is this giant fire-breathing dog with 3 heads. And one head is a head that looks like a subordinate. One head that's in the middle, they're stacked up like a totem pole almost. One head that's in the middle is the face of a manager, and then the one on the top is the face of like the big boss. So they've built like the corporate business hierarchy into the heads of the dog monster, and they're like, well, we can't fight this monster. It's like cooking them alive, like breathing fire on them. And the president goes, you know what? I have this strategy. So they antagonize the head like the underling, and then they antagonize the big boss, and they start fighting, and the heads start quarreling with each other. And he makes this joke, and he says, this is a clear sign of weak middle management. And because like the head in the middle is like all confused, the manager in the middle, while the boss and the little guy are like yelling at each other while he's in the middle looking all scared. And then later in the scene, he says, the underling head is afraid of getting fired. I was just like, this shit is funny. So I think everybody in the world hates this anime, pretty much. It has a 5.3 on Mal. It doesn't look like it looks cute. It isn't like the way that it looks is fine to me. It isn't animated super well. The fight scene was okay. It's clearly not about like the fighting. It's more about like business jokes and stuff like that. And but
it's battle time.
It's battle time. So I don't know where this is going. I think it's just going to be like a cute little anime where they go on little quests, and there's lots of like talk of, the cost of hiring new employees and all these other things that you don't really encounter usually. So yeah, pretty much everybody hates this anime. 5.3 on Mal. So I can only assume, although people sure tanked it in a hurry because it barely is out. I think in the way that Gura Zeni only appealed to me, I think I'm gonna pass this anime because it appeals to me in a humorous sort of business way, because that's definitely what they're going for with this. I don't know.
I have to try this out.
I don't know where it's going. It could end up being terrible, but that third episode really tickled me with some really on spot, like right on the mark humor for people that are, in finance or accounting or understand what weak middle management is like, having a weak manager. So
I do.
This anime could be horrendous, but for me, those jokes were on point, and I've never seen that in anime before. So, despite the hate, I'm gonna pass it.
Respect.
Yes! Yes! Oh, yeah! Can you feel that, buddy? Huh? I have exorcised the demons.
All right. Okay, Mason, you have 2 coming up, right?
Nope, I just got one.
Am I counting like a dummy?
Uh,
Oh,
I have
Mandy
two.
has two. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, so I can go next if you want me to.
Sure.
All right, cool. So I have the anime I'm going to be doing an impression on real quick is Yesterday Wo Utatte, which translates to Sing Yesterday for me. It is my number one pick for the season. And again, just really quick, I picked it because I had watched, they released like a 9-minute preview of the show. And the genres are slice of life, drama, romance, and seinen. I tend to gravitate towards slice of life, drama, seinen, romance. Those are like my top genres, so it has all of them. And it's about a guy, Rikuo, and he's someone that after college he kind of doesn't have a lot of ambition in life. He has settled on working part-time at a grocery store, and during work he meets this one girl named Haru who has a pet raven, which is weird to say out loud, but it's true. And it kind of just goes from there. So I remember I wanted the show to be a show that kept the pacing that it had in the first episode. I wanted the show to stay grounded in dialogue. I didn't want it to be one of those ridiculous dramas where like wild things are happening. And so I've been able to watch the first 3 episodes. Quick fun note: there's no OP so far. No OP. Just it just has a title card where it's just like the anime will play, and then it goes scene one, and then it'll go back to the anime. So there's no OP, which is I think is kind of nice. And usually, I think that's usually done when episodes that have no OP are usually episodes where they want to suck every minute or second they can into getting the story across. And I think this show wastes no time to get its scenes going. It does have an ED, and the ED is really cool so far. What's up, Mason? Do you have
Do
something?
they even have a credit roll over
No.
the intro? Okay.
No, it's literally like you know
Gotcha.
like the typical 30-second anime, like 30 seconds to a minute of anime title card with that just says scene one or scene
Yeah.
two, scene
Yeah.
three, and then back to the anime, and then there's an ED at the end.
Okay.
Yeah, and the ED is a bop. Not gonna lie, it reminds me. It has the same vibe as After the Rains ED, that MA song, Refrain, that kind of vibe, which is nice. So I've really been impressed with the anime so far because it's doing a really good job of introducing a lot of Rikuo's past back into his life in a really organic way. And nothing has been too dragged on. Nothing drags on. Everything moves, and Rikuo is not such a sad sap that he's frustrating to watch, which is one of my biggest pet peeves in slice of life dramas. Because usually in slice of life dramas that are not written super well, we have a main guy or girl who doesn't know how to communicate, and that's really frustrating for me to watch because a lot of these issues that are anime, quote unquote, make up are solely because people aren't communicating well. I think the biggest example of that is probably Just Because, or like that comedy series Gamers, where a lot of things were complicated for no reason when they just had to talk to each other. Um, so yeah, so episode one opens up with him at the grocery store. He meets that girl Haru. Haru is, she from the get go shows some kind of romantic interest in Rikuo. We don't know why yet at this moment. And then also in that first episode, Rikuo's old love interest from college all of a sudden shows up back in his town because she had to transfer jobs, and she transferred back to this town. She heard from a also old ex classmate that he was working at this grocery store. So she visits him, and that kind of sends Riku for a whirl. He's like, "Holy shit!" Um, Shinoka is the ex love interest. Shinoka's in town, and it naturally affects him because he has always known and has been fully aware that he likes her. Like he likes her. He has more than just friend feelings for her. And what I really liked about the show is that in episode two, he immediately addresses that because he's very aware of the fact that he can't just be friends with her because he likes her. Which is like so refreshing to see in anime when a lot of the time it's just like, oh, I have these feelings and I just don't know how to say them, and I'm just gonna suffer for 10 episodes before I do a grand confession. Like that's just frustrating.
Only
yeah,
10 episodes?
yeah, true, exactly. Sorry, we got
You got to hit that fadeaway handhold at the very end.
that
Yeah.
fadeaway handhold.
It was worth
Yeah,
the wait.
So I don't want to say too much about the precise moments of the show. What I really want to stress is that so far we've been presented with a good handful amount of characters. So far, every character is really nice and fits the vibe of the show. The voice acting is so nice. The way that they recorded this really intimately, like the way their voices sound very soft and comforting. Like they're almost like not like they're not obviously not whispering into your ear, but it feels it feels like they're talking to you. It feels like they're just talking, like normal talking. Like it's not overacting, it's not underacting. It's really nice. The music's really nice to listen to. The art style is interesting. They sometimes wave. They go between hard outlines and like these. It's kind of like watercolored brush, not finished enclosures type outlines. And it looks pretty nice. It adds a nice flair to the show. And I've been really liking the personal relationships between each character and how they're moving, because it's all dialogue that is sound. It's not ridiculous. These characters are obviously thinking, which is nice. They're not just like saying shit like bots that make no sense. And yeah, so take it from me, who is a slice of life fucking fanboy who loves his post college anime settings. This one, so far through episode 3, has good pacing, good music, dialogue is present throughout the entire show. But they don't always just they don't like narrate to you what each action means. They allow character actions to speak for themselves so that you can feel what these characters' intentions are as they're doing these things. So I'm really happy that I'm seeing yesterday for me. I literally watch this the day that it comes out on Crunchyroll. Yeah, so passing this, and I'm hoping it stays smart and subtle and nice, and the pacing doesn't get fucking ridiculous. So passing it.
Yes. Now this is gonna be a good story.
How many episodes are out?
I think with yesterday maybe 4.
I need to hurry. I need to hurry up and watch it before it gets too far in.
Yeah, I can tell you right now. I can tell you right now while you do your next one if you want. Or Mason or Mandi. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll go. Well, you can let her know. Yeah. So speaking of bops that Enzo talked about,
lit.
We're talking brand new animal, aka
4
BNA. This is done by Studio Trigger, and it's streaming future tense over on Netflix. So when it finishes, you can find it over there. But yeah, the OP of this show is so good. When it's good weather outside, you play this through your headphones. You just go out for a walk. You're in for a good time. It's so feel good, and I love the OP so much. The rest of the show that comes after it, not so much. So our main character is a pretty adorable Tanuki-esque human named Michiru, and she goes to a city, Anima City, and there's a big festival there, and she meets a Kamina / Galo / Legoshi wolfman named Shiro, who is a sort of detective, sort of like protector Batman from Animal Society, from the humans that are invading this city of animals. And essentially this animal society is they're called beastmen. Yes, it's the same name as the Gurren Lagann characters, but these beastmen can swap between Homo sapien and animal form. So they're able to transfer between the two. And all of them can do this except for our main character, Michiru, because she is a human. She's not a beastman. She just has mysteriously turned into a tanuki, which is funny because those are creatures notorious for being able to shapeshift, and she can't shapeshift back to being a human. And essentially this story follows her. First couple episodes are trying to convince people that she's actually not a beastman, she's not an animal, she is a human, and trying to find her place in this new city, which, has a bunch of weird rules, because it's animals and all that kind of stuff. And it's a fun little, setup. It's got a lot of flair. It's got a lot of that Trigger pizzazz and color palette, but it's nice and all. Things very quickly get convenient where we get rival gangs. We get this pharmaceutical company, which whenever a pharmaceutical company shows up in a show, they're always evil. I think we all understand that. There's like this mayor of the city that knows a little bit too much about what's going on. And essentially we learned that Michiro's situation of being a human who can't transform could disrupt like the balance and the power struggle between beastmen and humans. And so for the first 3 episodes, stuff kind of happened, but nothing really grabbed me. It wasn't engaging. It didn't really wow me. I didn't get a sense of like a deeper meaning or a metaphor of what was happening. Like it all happened on screen in front of me, but nothing connected. There was no message there. And I was like, I don't know. I'm just not really digging it. But I like Trigger. I want to like the show. And so I cheated. I took full advantage of the fact that actually 6 episodes have already been released on Japanese Netflix.
Ooh.
So I kept on watching. And boy, I was glad that I did, because the show wasn't anything special for the first 3 episodes, but it really showed its stripes to become completely unremarkable as time went on. Like, this was a very surface level experience, and like, besides the nice like purple blue color palette, like I just was more and more underwhelmed after each episode. They even tried to do like a Doro Hedoro like baseball-esque arc, and it just did not hold up in any way. Like, the show has a phenomenal OP. Check it out for that. But even with Trigger at the helm, like, there just was so little substance to it, and I will be failing it.
Boo! 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 Boo!
Boo.
What she said.
I need Trigger to step the fuck up with their writing, dude. Holy shit.
I don't know. They can step down and fade quietly into that good night.
No, they're so talented animators, man. Their animations are so dope. Dude, they need
But
a fucking writing team that knows what they're doing.
Too many sparkle eyes.
Fuck, okay.
Too many pluses everywhere.
God damn it, dude. Trigger fucking pisses me off, man. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep this cat. She is just all over me today. And she keeps bumping the mic. I apologize.
No one is upset, man.
I'm trying. Like, the entire time you're doing your impression and Mason, she was here drooling on me. So, yeah, my last one. Okay. This one is Ghost in the Shell 2045. It is up on Netflix. And the first 12 episodes are currently up. It's going to be 24 altogether. Netflix uploaded half of it. I have not watched all 12. I watched 4. So, but I'm only going to do impressions on the first 3. And it is being adapted by the same team as Standalone Complex. Production IG, same director. I don't know if the entire staff is the same, but I know those 2 are the same as who has been doing Standalone Complex from, the first season all the way up to this. But so yeah, I love Ghost in the Shell. It has been a very important anime to me in my anime history, so I went into this very excited. And so yeah, it takes place after Standalone Complex, and it references events in the second season and in the Solid State Society movie. Section 9 has been disbanded, with many of them going their separate ways. Motoko, Bato, Saito, and Ishikawa are now in America, and they've joined a team called Ghost, and they are now working as mercenaries. And they recruited. They also recruited a new character called, I think his name is just Stan. But
It's just Stan.
I think it's standard, but don't they call him Stan for short?
It was like standard. He's like, just call me Stan, and they're like, oh, we're gonna call you Clown.
that was it. So their team is trying to find a guy who has been supplying bandits with powerful weapons, and one of their informants says that they are getting their weapons from these people called the 1%ers. And when they confront this group, they enter, a firefight with them. And during the conflict, these bandits release a drone. It's on its way to destroy this mansion. And Motoko's team managed to take down the drone, but it turns out that the drone had long-range missiles on it, and those go off and end up destroying the mansion. And like immediately after that, they're surrounded by this U.S. Delta Force squad that takes them into custody, and they meet a guy named John Smith who looks like he just came straight out of the Matrix. But he's an American agent and wants to recruit them to go on a rescue mission and has them start doing VR training exercises. And meanwhile, in Japan, Togasa meets up with Chief Aramaki again, and Aramaki wants to bring Section 9 back together and has the new prime minister's approval. So now Togasa is on his way to America to look for the major and the rest of the team and try to bring them all back together. So, things that I do like about this. I do like seeing just the characters again and referencing events in the previous shows, but without them directly telling you what happened. So Togasa and his family went through a lot in its Solid State Society movie. And the first thing Aramaki mentions when they meet up is mentions that Togasa is going through a divorce. And if you remember events from there, you're like, oh, shoot. Yeah, what he went through was a pretty big deal. I can definitely see how it's the consequences of what just happened. So there are little bits in there. I was like, oh, yeah, that was really cool. It reminded me of events. And I also like some of the little tiny additions to the Ghost in the Shell technology. There's a scene where Togasa is looking at a street lit up by neon signs everywhere and like holograms, and he like wipes it away and says, this is what the real world looks like. And like all of those things drop. And I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. And there was a scene where his vision is filled with pop-ups because of your cyber brain. It's connected to the internet, and just little additions to that. Like back in, pop-ups weren't really a thing back in like 95, I think, when Ghost in the Shell first came out. So now they're trying to add in a little bit more and more and more of things that are more common in, modern technology. And there's also a woman who mortgaged all of her organs to pay for her cybernetic implants. So, and now her entire body is exposed to threats because she can be easily hacked. And it's just stuff like that is still cool and still the reason why I love the Ghost in the Shell universe so much. All that is so creative, and I love seeing all the things that they add to the technology in the world. What I dislike, the animation is awful.
That's what I was waiting for right there.
Womp womp.
I am not somebody who dislikes 3D CG animation. I love it. I'm far more accepting of it than a lot of anime fans are, especially when it's done really well. Yeah. But in this, man, I really think the 3D models are so poorly rigged. And rigging is when you make a model, you make a mesh, and then you attach a skeleton to it. And the skeleton is preventing you from moving the body in ways that are abnormal or, that you can't achieve. So when you move, like, especially face rigging is one of the hardest things to do in 3D CG animation. And when it's done really well, you can get some very great realistic facial animations. And a lot of places use more motion cap or face scans. But if you are a really good rigger, like for for example, Pixar, you can get some really great animations. But also the downside of it with rigging is that you can also do it very quick and very poorly and end up with very stiff, almost action toy looking characters. Mm-hmm. And that's unfortunately what's going on with this. It's like, I don't know how much money was put into it, so I cannot say, it's just cheap. I don't know. But what they have done is I do not like it myself. And
they look like PS2 like cutscenes.
I was going to say I wrote it down in my notes that they look more like video game cutscenes than like a TV show.
Back in the day though.
Sadly for me, it's just that makes it so hard to watch. And some of the meshes are just, the hair is just blocks. It just does not look good. I did see some people saying that they like it, and you do, that's great, but for me, it's very difficult.
The Tachikoma fight was cool.
Yeah, the Tachikomas are great because they don't have faces. They're just cute little robots.
Real to me, damn it.
But yeah, both versions of Ghost in the Shell, both the movie and standalone complex, were also very philosophical. the original, being about merging with technology and what it means to be human, and then Standalone Complex taking a deeper look at society and that like follow the leader mentality and how that can apply to even events today. And as well as just bringing up corruption in the pharmaceutical companies again and conspiracies, trying to hide diseases that cybernetic implants cause. But 2045 just feels more of just an action show. As far as the first 3 episodes, of course, I can't say for the rest of it. But so far, it just feels like an action romp. It's for me, it just feels bland and not as thoughtful as you would expect Ghost in the Shell to be. So, yeah, I have a long history of Ghost in the Shell. I'm still going to finish it because I'm already too deep into the series. I literally own everything Ghost in the Shell you can think of because it has been such a huge part of my life. But I don't recommend it. It's not a good jumping on point for Ghost in the Shell. You should definitely go watch Standalone Complex because it's phenomenal. And you should definitely start with that. And if you get to a point at the end, you're like, I need more, you can try this. But yeah, I'm going to fail it for review. If things change and somehow it's just vastly so much better than what it has been, I'll mention it again in the future. But for now, I'm going to fail it.
For now, it exists.
Yeah.
That is one big pile of shit.
Thanks, Jeff Goldblum.
It's one of my favorite drops ever.
The opening of the new Ghost in the Shell was so disappointing.
I
tone,
agree.
like the tone of the music and just like
does not match.
And like it's going for a whole like 1%, 99. Like you're 9 years late for this, and you're offering no substantial depth. So
especially compared to
agree
the
with
OG.
Mandy.
Like the OG opening is so cool in what it does. Yeah.
It's trying to do the same thing where it's like that whole making of a cyborg thing, going through like the process, and that was something that I loved about the original Ghost in the Shell movie. It's just such a cool animation scene in the beginning, and I love it whenever they redo that. But this is, it starts doing that, but then it has like this music does not fit whatsoever with the with the mood of it.
Yeah,
we're in it for the money. It's
anyway,
I don't recommend it.
Those were our impressions. We passed yesterday Utatte and President. It's Time for Battle. A brand new animal, Art, and Ghost in the Shell were all dropped, but not forgotten. So we will probably touch base on those at the end of the season. And with that, we are in time for our second weekly trivia question for you before the news break. And it is, what is the name of the ring of orbital satellites surrounding the planet Hasten featured in Legend of the Galactic Heroes? Think about it. Put a ring on it. A necklace for her.
Oh!
And we'll see you in a couple minutes.
Yeah, Yang Wenli, come at me.
Hey, all you anime addicts, Mitsugi's back yet again, bringing you your anime news. Leading us off with some Goku news. Goku Day is May 9th in Japan. I didn't know that, but apparently that's true. And it looks like to celebrate this, they're going to be having an online poll for fans to vote for their favorite outfit that Goku wears. They're going to have 30 different costumes you can vote from that will determine what the overall favorite costume is for Goku, although I can't imagine it being anything other than the orange classic costume from the beginning of Dragon Ball Z. So if you're looking for this, the poll is going to be running on the Goku Day special website from May 9th through the 29th. And the website is dragonball.news/59 campaign. So if you want to jump on there, it is in Japanese, but it's probably not that hard to navigate. And you can vote for your favorite costume too of Goku starting on May 9th. Next up, it looks like the HBO Max streaming service is still launching on May 27th. It's going to cost $15 per month, and it's going to have lots of different titles available, including anime properties. HBO Max is going to be offering G-Kids' entire Studio Ghibli library, all 21 films this spring, and this is the first time that Studio Ghibli films will stream on any platform, and they list all of the titles here, but we already know what they all are. Crunchyroll, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, and Rooster Teeth are also going to offer content through the service, so you're going to have plenty of anime there to choose from, and if you see something on HBO Max that looks like it's very tantalizing to you, go check out their services starting on May 27th. Next up, back to COVID. It looks like Japan may not lift, at least not fully, the restrictions and the state of emergency in Japan on May 6th as they had planned, noting that the rate of infection spread has not slowed as they thought. And the Economic Revitalization Minister Nishimura Yasutoshi added that the government must decide whether or not to lift the state of emergency in advance of May 6th to allow schools and companies to prepare. So the government's COVID-19 task force and experts are going to meet this week to talk about the situation. So we'll have to see if Japan lifts their state of emergency in early May or if they keep it locked down for the future. And lastly, we're going to go through some of the anime that are the top rated anime for the week of April 13th through the 19th in Japan. And there's a couple new ones on the list here. Sazai-san, of course, is always at the top of the list, but Detective Conan climbing all the way to number 2. Just behind Sazai-san, which is fairly interesting. A new title on the list here, Hakushon Daimao 2020. So it looks like another kids anime, but it's coming in at number 5 just after Doraemon. And going down the list, we're rounding it out with Crayon Shin-chan, Anpanman, Precure, and Butt Detective as usual on the list. This was Mitsugi, and this was your anime news break. And now, as always, time to get back to the podcast.
After Parties Hobby Addicts Hentai episodes. After Parties Hobby Addicts Hentai episodes. After Parties Hobby Addicts Hentai episodes.
What in the world are you two doing? I'm trying to sleep here. It's midnight.
We're using Mandi's arcane power to do a content prayer dance.
Yeah, we're hoping the content gods bless us with thrilling entertainment for the fans.
Content prayer dance. You know, there's a much easier way to make better content. How about starting with studying our vast archive of additional content on AAApodcast.com?
Oh, I already have. I mean, it's only $7 a month for almost 8 additional episodes every month.
That's less than $1 per extra episode and super easy to get to. Just gotta type aapodcast.com/join to become a member.
You went through the whole archive? It's hundreds of hours.
Well, Senpai, anything's possible.
If you believe.
I think I'll just leave you two alone.
Hey, is he gone yet?
Yeah, ready.
Yeah. After Parties Hobby Addicts Hentai episodes. After Parties Hobby Addicts Hentai episodes.
この番組は JList.com の提供でお送りします。And now, great moments in Anime Addicts Anonymous history.
Do they make reverse kotatsus? A kotatsu that is cooling instead of heating? Just be like, I'm just gonna sit underneath here and chill my balls, you know?
That's called a refrigerator.
Oh, yeah. I don't
It's
know.
called a refrigerator.
Putting my balls in your
Just
refrigerator.
just open your refrigerator, stick your leg up on like the countertop with your balls just like hanging free.
One day you're gonna walk into your kitchen and you're just gonna see my bare ass sticking out of your fridge.
Your 14-year-old daughter comes home with her friend from school, and Dad is just sitting in the kitchen with his hairy ass and his balls hanging down in front of the fridge. Like, Dad, not again!
No, he's sitting on the floor in the living room and he's brought the fridge with him and he's like laid it down on top of his body.
Just chilling
Come,
himself.
let's sit around the reverse kotatsu together, children.
My Lord's in heaven.
That would be amazing.
Can it be a father-son edition where the
Yeah.
son is on a platform?
That's the advertisement.
And he's cooling his balls too
Yeah.
on in the freezer.
Right. Yes, exactly. And then you have the kid standing underneath.
So the dad's balls are hanging on top of the little kid.
They're not touching them.
It's kind of like an intimate tea bag.
Yeah, he's going under the bridge.
And now, back to the podcast.
Little Chopin nocturne action, bring you down.
I love the contrast between the nocturne to that fucking cut of the episode. It's wild.
So, guys, we had an intro trivia question. And that question was, what is the name of the ring of orbital satellites surrounding the planet Heinessen, featured in Legend of the Galactic Heroes? And the very cool name, Artemis's Necklace. I'm down for that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And guys, if you are a fan of this podcast and you want to get all of our hobby addicts, well, we're giving them away this month in April to keep you company during your time indoors. Going forward, though, that will not be the case. If you want to enjoy those episodes, our hentai episodes, our hobby addicts, our after parties, you can get them now via an exclusive members-only RSS feed that is available from the top bar of our website. If you go to aaapodcast.com/join, you can sign up, help out the podcast. You're going to be getting hundreds of additional exclusive episodes. We have something like 650 episodes now in the exclusive backlog, and you'll be able to access them via Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, CastBox, Overcast FM, Downcast, pretty much the vast majority of the places where you would listen to your podcasts. And with this Chopin playing, just how could you not? You know, just slide right in like the smoothest Chopin arpeggio and listen to our episodes.
Could you raise the nocturne? I want to walk everyone through something. All right, everyone listening, close your eyes. Close your eyes, right? Just close your eyes. Follow me through this, okay? Yes, that means you who's working and you who's reading. Put your pens down. Put your pencils down. Put your book down. Put the Nintendo Switch down. Put it down. And think about the fact that in a pandemic, you're still alive. You're alive enough to listen to 4 idiots talk about anime for almost 3 hours. And that's something that's pretty beautiful, isn't it?
And if you drive
called us idiots.
Deep breath
How do
in.
I feel about this?
Listen.
Mandy, deep breath in.
No.
Okay.
She's like, you told me to put my Switch down. I'm going through withdrawals.
And deep breath out.
I don't want to flex too hard, but if you come to my apartment, I'll play that Nocturne for you in person. Okay, and next up, we have some iTunes action.
It's time for iTunes review.
Apparently, I just colored everything green on the outline in this section. This 5-star review is by Amane-chan. Who else would like to read something?
I could do this.
Oh shit! Here he comes. Here he comes.
Yeah, let's get it. So Amane-chan gives us 5 stars, and they write, "Thank you. I never listened to a podcast before, but I needed something to listen at work besides music and watching YouTube videos because that would get me fired. So a coworker suggested I listen to a podcast. I decided to give it a go and looked up anime podcasts, and this was a top 10 must listen to podcasts listed for anime lovers. And I've loved it ever since. I only been a part of the AAA for a short time, but I love the Discord and the extra podcasts you can listen to when you're a member on their website. The anime club is great, and I'm hoping to find time to join the manga club. This podcast has definitely made my anime addiction worse, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you." Well,
you know it.
Amane-chan, honestly, thank you for supporting us by being a paying subscriber. That is truly what keeps us going 1,000,000%. So thank you so much, and I'm glad that we can provide entertainment for you while at work. I know me, who works long days, long hours in an office, and currently from home. Trust me, I know how special it is to have something that you can look forward to kill some of your time at work with. So
I thought you were gonna say coworkers.
Oh, that too. I feel like if you put someone, okay, listen here, guys. If you put someone in a room, right, and you play our podcast only for 10 days straight, you probably do some mental damage.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'd like to think so.
That is not
24
good.
hours a day for 10 hours in a room with nothing in it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you, Amane-chan, and also thank you for showing up to the anime clubs.
Yeah.
Blast having you there.
They're lovely.
Aw.
Forget waterboarding. I think we have that beat badly. Like you could really do some damage with just the sound of our voices for an extended period.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Our
And poop
voices
talk.
are like knives to the nervous system.
Poop talk. We would never.
Yeah, but I already ate this shit burger.
Damn it, Kazuo.
Damn it, Kazuo.
All right.
Alrighty. You ready for the review?
Let's get it. Let's do it.
All right. So we are reviewing Legend of the Galactic Heroes. How do you say this? It's like DI new thesis.
Dinoya
Something.
thesis.
New thesis is
It's just
the English.
the new thesis. It's literally trying to say the new thesis in
Deutsch go.
Oh, Deutsch.
Oh, so
But yeah, so this is this is season 2. We did review season 1. Was it last year? I believe.
Yeah, something like that.
And I know Cosmo was still on the podcast at the time. It may have been 2 years ago, but
I'm gonna look it up real quick.
I believe we reviewed it pretty highly. So this is season 2, and it is available on Crunchyroll, Verve, and Funimation. Being same studio, production IG, same staff as far as I know. And season 1 ended in a very abruptly right before the start of a war. So season 2 picks up straight after that. We get to see the actual like this war take place, and then go on from there. And so to give you a little bit of a rundown of what Legend of the Galactic Heroes is, if you're newer to anime and don't know, because it is a very, very popular series. But yeah, so it's set in the future where people have colonized space, and there are 2 different factions: the Galactic Empire, which is a monarchy ruled by the Kaiser Frederick family. I think that's just the leader, Frederick, I believe his name was.
Yeah, it's like the Golden Bomb family.
Golden Bomb, yeah, that was it. And then there is the Free Planets Alliance, which is a democracy. And now, for the first time in history, because this war has been going on for a long time over control of territory and space, now for the first time, 2 military geniuses have joined the stage. We have Reinhard Lohengram on the Empire side, and then in the Alliance we have the best character, Yang Wen-li. So
okay.
There is a constant war on this podcast over these characters. But yeah, so the first time they have joined the fight, and now we are taking the war into a very decisive place. It is just blown up. And so yeah, that's where the background up behind Legend of the Galactic Heroes, where we ended in season 1. Not to give any spoilers in case you haven't seen it, and if you haven't, you should probably check that out before you listen to this review. But the Alliance tried to invade into Empire territory. They got so exhausted in doing so. Their supply lines were very exhausted. There's a lot of conspiracy. This is a very highly political anime. And so now, right at the end of season 1, we started up with the, I think it was Astarte. I think that was the name of the war. So
Amritsar?
Amritsar, yeah. There's like Astarte, and then there's Amritsar.
There's lots of similar sounding names.
Yeah.
A lot of them. So we will make mistakes in this
Oh,
review.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I promise you.
The original came out in like 88. This one is this adaptation is more closer to the novels, which came out in like 82. So there are some small changes here and there in the way that they were adapted. So yeah, let's go ahead and go with our expectations. What were your expectations going in?
I'll go first.
Go first.
First of all, I'm on Team Yang, just so you know. Just want to throw that out.
Yes! Yang crew assemble!
Yeah.
He fought for your democracy, Mason. Get out of here!
I mean, listen.
He took his headphones off.
Listen. It's because your eyes and your heart are clouded over.
Are they?
That's what they said in the show. So.
Oh. You're right. I just got some big, goofy sunglasses over my eyes.
I expected more Legend of the Galactic Heroes. I thought it would be the exact same tone and quality as the first 12 episodes that we got of the remake. So, space battles and politics. And I think that was pretty much what I got. Anyway, that's about it.
Hey, I can go next though. So what I expected going in was, like Mitsugi said, a lot of space stuff, a lot of political stuff in said space. I also expected some big old ships. Big old ships with big old cannons, with big old people sitting on big old chairs saying big old words in big old sentences. And I'm sure that's what happened in the anime, but I wouldn't know because I couldn't fit this into my fucking watch time this week. And I'm so sorry, listeners. So I will be here providing insightful questions to the 3 hosts that actually did the homework.
Enzo, democracy or monarch? Come on, fight for democracy, Enzo.
I literally can't go against democracy. I'm sorry, Mason.
Yes!
I'm so sorry.
Yang Wen-li group assemble.
I'm so sorry, friend. And that is and I'll be quiet for a while now. Okay. Good luck, my fellow co-hosts, for doing good jobs.
Thanks, amigo. My initial impressions. I do want to point out that these came out as 3 films in
Yes,
Japan.
yes.
These were 3 films, 4 episodes each. So that's one reason why they don't have sort of the pacing or like OPs that a classic might have had. But we'll touch on that later because I want to talk about it. But no, my initial impressions. The original 90s OVA is like a true personification of the word epic. It's 110 episodes of damn near perfection. It wastes no time over that entire time. It's complete, it's well rounded, it's an immensely human tale of like tactical, political, and philosophical warfare. I often reference it. I think other people do too, as one of the finest anime of all time. And despite that, I don't think it's overhyped. I think it ages with charm and grace. And I think even if this remake completed everything that the original Artland masterpiece had, like, I just don't see this being able to step out of the shadow of its older brother. Like, much like the Kino's Journey remake, I just inherently find the original superior. So this has a lot to live up to in my mind. And, going into it, I, like Mitz, expected more of season 1, and it jumps right into it. So you need to either refresh yourself or rewatch it. There is no flashback, there is no rewind. It doesn't baby you back into it. You need to come in ready to go. So I think we can go to our spoiler free.
I haven't done my expectations.
Oh, sorry.
So I'm gonna do mine. Yeah, I pretty much the same. I expected more of season 1, but where we were going in season 1, like where this picks up, there are 2 very major events that happen that in the original made me cry. So I was expecting to that had high expectations for me. I wanted to see how those were adapted, and if there are any changes in the novels. So yeah, I was very interested in seeing that, and it's interesting because those 2 scenes, both in the original and in this, I've heard so many different people support both of them and like how they were presented. So it's going to be a very interesting discussion. But yeah, I was expecting more of the same, and very pretty boys in space. All right, let's go into our spoiler-free recommendations. We'll go down in the same rotation.
This is pretty much as easy as it's ever going to get for this section. I mean, it's simple. If you watch the first 12 episodes and you like them, then you watch this one and you're going to be fine. If you watch the first 12 episodes and you did not like them, then you should not watch this. If you have not watched the first 12 episodes, you should not watch this because you will be so lost.
Yeah.
So it's simple as that. I mean, there's not much else to say. So.
Cool.
If I can't convince you to watch the original one, which you can find on High Dive, yeah, I also recommend this adaptation. Like, it's not complete, it's partial, but like it covers what it does cover well. I was still engaged with it, and if you do like it, maybe you'll go back and watch the original. The core story is still enthralling. I think Production IG does a good job applying a new coat of paint, and it really shines in the massive space battles. They just look as epic as they should, and I'm going to say that E-word a lot today. I think a big strength of the show is there's an onslaught of names and ranks, and there's a lot of depth in the factions, but there's a lot of like 4D chess at play, but you can engage with the show as much as you want. If you just want to like watch the like surface level stuff and not like get into the weeds, you can still enjoy it, and I think it excels no matter how much time you want to give its attention to. So I think almost anyone could enjoy the show, unless you're non-stop like, oh, I just want to see Sakuga and violence or something like that. So I think a lot of people could get something out of this. I think we're all going to echo this line a lot. It's more of season 1. Despite it being a movie, it looked kind of on par. It doesn't look like phenomenally better or worse. You could just keep on watching from season 1 and not even know the difference. My boy Kirchice is back in stunning fashion. If my tactical husbando isn't enough to sway you, I feel pity for your soul. Watch Legend of Galactic Heroes in any form, in any iteration, and it's still good.
I agree. I passed this because I just wanted to talk about Legend of Galactic Heroes.
Yeah.
Like, guys, the original is phenomenal. It's one of my 10 out of 10s. And But I do agree that it can be hard for certain people to get into. There is a lot of politics. There is a lot of dialogue. And if you're not into politics and you just watch anime for, shonen battles, it is not going to be for you because it's very long. And something that I think I should mention is that the original adaptation changes the novel. Like it added so many more additional scenes to flesh out characters, motivations, and certain events. So it is a different experience. But if you are interested in it and you just cannot get through a lot of the politics, I think this is a good jumping on point. I think this one is a little bit easier to watch for people who are not interested in that. And I think it's still great. Just watch one of them, please. Just either adaptation. I don't care what you do. You can read the books. Just experience it and get on Team Yang. That's all I'm asking.
I mean, or something else, or the other side. Kurtz is so good. He's so pure. I also do want to mention, we talk about like, oh, if it's not your usual thing. Like, I do not like space operas. I'm not a fan of Star Wars. I'm not a fan of Star Trek. You can go down the list. It just does not appeal to me. This is as much of a space epic as you can get, but it's just so damn good that I enjoy it. So even if this is normally not your MO, just give it a chance. I encourage you, and I think that season 2 is better than season 1.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so let's go ahead and spoilers.
Spoilers are coming. Oh my god!
All right, where do we want to start? We want to start with how dirty fucking Job Trinick is. The worst. Now his true colors are starting to show.
The one thing I think was worse about this remake than the original, I felt like the evilness of the bad characters were a lot less well-rounded and well-scoped. They just seemed so like obviously bad that I'm like, okay, like I know there's hundreds of characters and we don't have time to spend it on everyone, but something about them just felt a little too over the top.
Yeah, no, I agree. That one of the biggest scenes for me from the original in this felt a little bit too cartoonishly evil, where in the original it felt more realistic. And we'll talk more about that scene later on because it's a very big major part of the series. But so where did you guys want to start? You want to start with the Amritsar Star Zone battle?
Yeah, so I mean essentially the first movie was the the first movie is the war between the two interstellar factions. The second movie is moving to like the civil wars of the internal struggles. And then the third movie is the conclusion of those internal struggles and like the losses on both sides, personal commanders that will propel them forward. So we can start with the interstellar war first.
Yeah, so did you want to go ahead, Mitz? Sorry.
No, I mean, I have some little comments I'm going to sprinkle here and there. I actually didn't like this season as much as the first one, and I think I'll get into why as we go. But I was just thinking about that battle and how it panned out, and you guys are going to have to fill in the gaps on like the technical details because
it's been a while.
Because while watching it, I'm not a Legend of the Galactic Heroes expert, but a lot of the battles in this season, in this 12 episode chunk of this larger story, including this first section, I wasn't really all that impressed with them. I wasn't as compelled. Like it seemed like the anime was very satisfied with having one side be clearly tactically better than the other, and a lot of the battles felt very short and kind of just uninteresting because like one side rushes in, the other side does their thing, and then 5 seconds later, 5 minutes would be a blessing. 30 seconds later, one side is just totally routed. And it happened over and over and over again in this 12 episode chunk. And I think this is where that started, where like one side is just, it's almost like watching like an NBA player play a high schooler in one-on-one.
I mean, every time a commander was like, we will push forward on the aggressive attack, you're like,
they lose.
You lost.
Yeah, they lost. Every time.
Yeah, like it was so easy to see how it was going to play out.
Yeah.
From just by the personalities of the commanders. Where
we left off in season 1, the alliance leaders were wanting to go to war as into invade Empire's space. There were, people who are pro-war and people who are anti-war. And Job Trinick, fucking dirtbag of this series, he was during private conferences campaigning to go to war. He's like, no, we should do this. And then when it came time to vote, he voted against it because he knew it was going to fail. So he has been using war as a way to propel himself forward, and just does not care about the losses of this or the people who are dying during this or what it can mean for the alliance. All he cares about is himself politically, which is very believable to me. But yeah, then of course during the expedition they get exhausted and with resources, because they're trying to liberate Empire territories, but all of these territories, now that they're cut off from the Empire, need resources, so they're giving their resources away, and this creates so much more conflict. And of course Reinhardt's like, now's the perfect time to strike back. And but during the conflict, Bittenfield overextends, and because he's just so, I guess, wrapped up in the bloodlust of it, like, yeah, we're just gonna take him down, but he leaves himself vulnerable to a counterattack. And Yang Wenli's like, good thing I'm a genius at this.
Good thing I read a history book once, and I'm the smartest boy alive.
Look, Yang Wenli reads a lot, okay? He's read a lot of history books.
And drinks a lot of tea, too.
Drinks a lot of tea, too,
with brandy or whatever.
With brandy,
yeah. And a lot of alcohol.
And not just a little brandy, a lot of brandy.
Did we get that scene in this? I don't think we did, where he said alcohol was the greatest friend of humanity. It's in the original. I don't think we got that.
I don't in this one.
No, I recall him saying, he was like, put brandy in my tea, and then the girl's like, all right, so you wanted tea and a bit of brandy, and he cracks her and he's like, no, a lot of brandy.
A lot of brandy. Yeah, and so the alliance withdrawal, of course it was a failure, but Yang Wenli kept the losses at a minimum, and in doing so he is promoted to admiral,
as often happens.
Yeah,
there's definitely a parallel in this series between the people who rise in the ranks, between not abusing their power, but like, I don't know, scheming or just like not really earning it, and the good guys like working through the battles, or they're smart and like earning it in a different way. And there's also a big parallel, which Mandi kind of alluded to earlier, is like the soldiers, the common man who's fighting for leaders or commanders that are just flawed or wrong, but they don't have a choice. They're there for this one thing, and even if they know that this is not the side or whatever that they agree with, they are sucks too bad. And it's like the powerlessness of people in the face of incompetence is, this show just nails that frustration so well.
Yeah, and now that the war was such a huge loss, but because during voting, Job Trinick voted against the war, now, the entire population is like, oh, he's great. He was the one who was right. And he gains temporary head of the government. And oof, what a dirtbag. I love it. One of my favorite scenes is still when Yang Wenli has to beat him during his promotion and shakes his hand and immediately washes his hands. But in the books, they mentioned that he like scrubs his hands raw. But I guess they didn't show that much in this, though.
He washed him.
He was washing it.
I think he was washing it multiple times.
Yeah, he put a little more soap in his hand than he needed to. We'll just say that.
I love Yang Wenli so much.
He's aight.
But yeah, then a lot of shit's going on in the Empire too, where the Kaiser Frederick just passed away, and now that creates a storm of
essentially just like a power vacuum.
Yeah, a power vacuum, yeah.
And you just have all the nobles trying to side up and like play games and promise their offspring as marriage and playing all those games, and
yeah, but then they end
up
Reinhardt
just steamrolls.
He's like, excuse me, no. I would like to appoint this 5-year-old.
Yes.
So yeah, the son of Ludwig, who was already passed away when this started. I think he's Frederick's grandson, I believe, because I think Ludwig was Frederick's son. So I think he's the grandson, but he's only
so.
5, Erwin, and now he is Kaiser. And Reinhard is appointed to support him and becomes the commander of the space fleet and a Marquis.
Yes.
Our boy moved up fast.
I love him. He's good.
I'm so excited about this. I just love. There's so much going on. There's so much political intrigue.
Yeah.
And just events in here that feel real to me. Like there are good things about good and bad things about everybody. And like even on like the Empire side and the the democracy, that it's just, you can tell that it's not black and white. They're not like, oh yeah, democracy good, empire bad. There's like, you can see there's so much corruption in the alliance, and then there are good and bad people in the empire. It's just so fascinating. It makes it feel so realistic. It just easily draws you in.
Yeah, you can't cheer for either side. And the great thing about this is, right now, like what Mitz is saying, a lot of the battles are clearly obvious. This is the guy you're cheering for. This is the guy who's bad and evil and makes dumb mistakes. And they kind of do that for these first 30, 40 episodes of like to say, okay, here's the people you care about. Here's the people you jive with and you agree with. And you agree with people from this side and people from this side. And that's what the show is building towards. But then those people start fighting each other. Then you're like, well, damn. I don't know who to cheer for.
Yes, yeah.
I side with everyone here. Like, and then you realize this is why war is terrible. This is why it's bad. And this is why the aspirations of Yang and other people are so honorable in this turbulent time. And it makes it so much difficult. Speaking is difficult. It makes it hard going forward.
It's okay. Trying
to analyze who you sided with more, and you care for everyone. So we're still on our way there. We're still weeding out the worst characters, but I'm excited.
Do you guys want to jump into the overarching plot line of the season, which is the it kind of,
well, both Empire and Alliance sides are now in their own internal conflicts.
Right.
There is an exchange of prisoners, which I love. I love that scene where he comes in with the prisoners, and Poplin is like, why does everybody find him so attractive? He gets super salty about it because all the girls are like, ooh, Kershis is so hot.
And that's where they say it's because your eyes and heart are clouded over.
I love Poplin's so great though. He's such a dirtbag, but he's hilarious.
I like the exchange of prisoners, and there's the scene where like it's revealed that maybe there's like insurgents hidden within the prisoners, and Yang just looks up at the sky where the prisoner ships are coming in, and you just see a sea of like ships coming in, and like you feel like the dread of like, these are millions of our citizens. We are returning. This should be a good thing. But
Yang knows, yeah.
There's like bad stuff in there, and it's like it's just the disconnect between success and failure, like, is coming on board the same ship. That it's so cool.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I like that part where Kershis shows up and they're shaking hands. It's just, I don't know, there's something about it, because you would expect like in a normal typical anime it'd be like, oh, the bad guys, and they'd be like cartoonishly evil, but it felt so,
it's the two best boys. It's the two best boys together at last, and everyone is happy. Why can't we agree like that?
But yeah, and then after that there's a lot of internal conflicts on both sides, and Reinhard kind of started this return of prisoners to get an agent into the alliance, but also to kind of say, hey, cease this war for a minute, because I got shit I want to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, both sides suffer a very tremendous loss, and two very critical scenes on both sides. So do we want to start with the alliance side?
Do we have any other comments before we get into
this? Yeah. Because these are two very important scenes.
Yeah, this is kind of what I think the review hinges on, because up until this point, it's been kind of just the show going about its course.
Mm-hmm.
Mitz, any comments or?
No, I mean, I think that the events that happen after the prisoner exchange, and I mean, I think that that's the whole season. So
yes,
I think that, like, discussing those events is enough to pretty much blanket most of the most of the anime. I mean, there are overarching comments here and there, but I think the plot line is the most important.
Yeah. Okay. Lead us off, Mandi.
So, yeah, now that we are in the Alliance, we know that there's an agent in there who is trying to basically start shit in the Alliance. And, was it Andrew Falk shoots Chief Kubersley, which kind of kicks us off. And now there are explosions all over the Alliance, and Dwight Greenhill, which is Frederica, right? Frederica? Is that her
Doesn't
name?
sound right.
My brain just
I'll look it up.
The name, there's so many names in this that I'm like,
There is.
I'm like, holy shit. And I'm like, half of them are German, which makes it even harder.
Yeah, I'm
So-
looking up. Yeah, it is Frederica. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay. Nice. It
But-
sounded odd, but maybe it's just.
She is one of Yang's subordinates, but her father, Dwight Greenhill, starts to plot a coup against the Alliance, and they've called themselves the National Salvation Military Council. And they ask Yang to join them. And he's like, no, I fight for democracy. And because they're trying to suspend the democratic institution in the Alliance during this coup. And some crazy shit happens. Basically, there is a peaceful protest with, oh shoot, what was her name again? I wrote it down. I forgot her name again.
The Yang fangirl?
Her friend, yeah. Or his friend, sorry.
Jessica?
Jessica
Edwards?
I know I wrote it down. I just can't find it in my notes.
She's such
I've
a
lost
good
my
girl.
place. Yeah, she starts a peaceful protest against the war and the coup. And during this, there are soldiers there. And in the original, one of them accidentally shoots somebody. It starts a riot, and then it just becomes a giant massacre. And this one, I don't know, did it feel too cartoonishly evil to me? This was like the part that was the worst, was the most disappointing for me.
I don't know if there was more of this in season 1 that I forgot, or if it was just better in the original, but I remember watching this one, and if I didn't know what Jessica meant to Yang and his friends, like, I don't think I would have known to care. I felt like, oh, she's just some lady who happens to die, and I think that maybe that was in season 1 and I forgot, but I think that was one misstep. But I also agreed. There was like this glorified slow-mo of her like getting bludgeoned with like these weird like sparkle effects like during her actual death scene, and it just felt so strange and out of place like when it actually happened. And like you said, the cartoonish evilness of the person who's like, I'm just gonna line these people up. And
I don't remember that happening in the original. I thought it was more of an accident, like he got, was scared and shot somebody, and that started like a storm.
It visually, I thought the art and animation in the show looked good most times, except this one like very important scene. I thought there was a grave misstep with it. And it was just kind of odd and strange, and they like moved past it in a very strange way.
Yeah,
like it just was not handled with a lot of depth.
But Jessica in this is shot, and she was one of Yang's friends.
Does she get shot? I thought she got clubbed in the head with a...
Yeah.
Did she get clubbed in the head? I can't remember. I'm sorry.
He hit her hard. He broke it.
Or something.
He broke the damn thing, and he hit her with it. I don't know.
What happened in the original? Or was she shot in the original? I don't remember.
To me, the scene was very quick. It was like, boom, there's this protest, and then like 3 seconds later, Jessica was dead, and I was like, whoa. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe it's because this, like, I haven't watched much of the original, but I did watch part of the beginning, and the first thing I noted was that this new one goes like way faster. It is hauling ass. So I don't know if in the original maybe they kind of take a couple of breaths in that scene, but like that scene wasn't that long, and she died, and she was a very important character in the first season. So I think it was kind of quick. It was kind of surprising to just like dispatch her like that, and then honestly her death didn't seem to have much impact on anything, which.
Like Yang wears sunglasses for a couple days.
Yeah, and that's it.
You feel for him, but I felt like the events leading up to her death happened about the same as in the original. I just think it was the impact didn't feel as strong in this season.
I do think it's a very important scene overall to showing how there is also a lot wrong in this supposed democracy. They have a peaceful protest that turns into a massacre. I think it was like 20,000 people died in it. It's insane. But I remember in the original, I was like ready to cry in the original. Both this scene and the next scene we're going to talk about. I was like, oh my God, that just hurt me. It was so hard to watch. The next other scene is on the Empire side. So like, yeah, this is a difficult one.
Man.
It's so weird because I've heard arguments from both sides on how this is better and then how the original is better. I personally think the original is better with this scene. That's just my personal opinion. But basically, in the Empire side, they are at war because the nobles are fighting against Reinhard. They want to put somebody else in power, but Reinhard tricks one of them into killing one of his own subordinates and sows kind of the fear of treason throughout the entire empire. And at the end, because there is a riot on one of the worlds, what was his name? The Duke.
Braunschweig?
Was it Braunschweiger? I don't remember his name. I'm so sorry.
Is that the guy
I think
who
his
was
name
like
was Braunschweig. I think it was. Yeah.
who was like poisoned, like with the wine bottle?
Yes.
By the way, that was time out. That was the best like visual representation of death. Like, this like guys like being forced to drink from like this poisoned wine bottle, and it's like made to look like a gun barrel, and like you see like the red wine like dripping down, like to look, it looks like blood, but it's you can tell it's wine. Like that looked so much good. Why did they put so much effort and artistic merit into the death of this scumbag loser, like throwaway scene, instead of like the most important character's death? But anyway.
But yeah, it was on Westerland. There is a riot, and one of his nephews is killed in the process, and so he's so corrupt with power. He's like, you know what? Nuke them, just blow them all up. And so in the original, Oberstein knows that this is going to happen, and he tells Reinhard, and Reinhard's like, we have to stop this. We have to tell them, and then we have to intercept it. And Oberstein's like, no, just let it go. Because now everyone's going to be turned against this guy, and you're going to be seen as the good guy. But Reinhard is very adamant, and then what happens in the original is Oberstein doesn't tell him that the nuke went off until after it's already over, and Reinhard is so heartbroken over it because he's like, I could have stopped that. And this one, Reinhard agrees with him. He's like, Oberstein, gives him counsel and says, no, you should let it go off. And Reinhard's like, okay, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, it's worth killing like 4 to 6 million people to save like 3 billion.
Yeah, that's what happens. And I've heard different things. Some people say that they like this one more because of the events afterwards with Kirchis, because Kirchis he's upset with Reinhard that you would do this, like you would be okay with it.
Oh, he's pissed.
Some people say it makes more sense to them that they would have this conflict right before another really big event and give Reinhard more regret. But I don't know. In the original, I still can't see Reinhard doing that. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
Because in the original,
I'm fine with it both ways.
Sorry.
More of my comparisons were in the scene itself, but go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say because in the original Reinhard, Kirchis goes up to Reinhard and says, "How could you let this happen?" Reinhard's like, "I didn't know it was gonna happen. I'm sorry."
Like I didn't know until like there was nothing I could do. Like
and then Kirchis is like, "Oh, okay, I still follow you. I'm still loyal to you." And this one, they get into a fight because Reinhard's like, "No, this is war. These are the sacrifices you have to make." And Kirchis like, "I used to know you, man."
It's like, I don't think you should have done that. And he's like, did I ask for your goddamn opinion? I didn't think so.
Yeah. So it's a really weird change. I think I like the original more because I just can't see Reinhard doing that. But I don't know. I do understand the argument.
Yeah, I mean, Oberstein is definitely much more of a you're not really supposed to know like where he's coming from in the original.
He's a robot.
He comes off a little too, as with everything, a little too obvious. But the actual death scene, if we want to go over that really quickly.
Yes.
Essentially the disgruntled underling of Braunschweig, I think that's what we determined his name was. If not,
Why is his name so funny?
Braunschweig, whatever, we're going.
We'll Well,
He
Sounds
well,
like a
vows-
sausage.
well, the
he
other guy
vows
sounds
that
like
he
Kurt
will-
Cheese.
Yeah, he vows that he'll kill Reinhard. He essentially gets audience with him. He just pulls out a grenade launcher from the funeral casket of his like fallen boss when they're like surrendering, and goes to aim it at Reinhard. Essentially, Kurt Cheese notices this, tackles him, and in the scuffle, gets killed.
Lasered.
Lasered. I don't think they show it in the new one, but it's like from a ring that the guy
A
has
ring,
on.
yeah.
They don't show the
And,
ring, but they show the laser.
Yeah, so he it's pretty apparent that he dies from his wounds. They have a little touching moment between Reinhard and Kirchis before he passes away. And it's sad, and it was done so much better in the original. I was actually watching them side by side to compare, and it's not even close. Like, there's so many little details that it misses out on. For one thing, when the guy aims this rocket launcher at Reinhard, like in the original, Oberstein jumps in front of Reinhard. You see him like, hey, I'm here to protect you, and none of that in the new one. You see that it comes from a ring in the original. Sure, it looks better, but all these details are lost. And the most important thing is, in the original, when like we noticed that, like this is definitely going to be Kirch's last moments. Like the screen, it's almost like a play where like the whole screen goes to black, and you just see Reinhard and Church. He's like lit up with like a white light, and this like tragic note is playing, and he like walks over to him, and it just hits so much harder. In the original, he's like, Kirch's like, he would never die before me, and like that implies like, hey, I'm going to die, but like he'll live on
in
after
5
me.
minutes. Give me 5 minutes.
Yeah, in the new one, he's like, he would never die and leave me behind. Like, he's not even considering his death. Like, the level of depth that they miss out on, and like they don't even touch on the fact that like a couple episodes later, like they talk about how like the Barbarossa, like the Kirch's like red flagship, like is like permanently moored on Odin next to like Reinhard's ship, and like, oh, just like thinking about this massive vessel just like perpetually like moored in place, like never to fly again, is so like soul crushingly like, and you just don't get that emotion at all. And I was even expecting, and I'm going to talk about later, I was hoping in the OP for the final episode to not have his ship there.
Oh man, that would have been
like,
hard.
I would have been like, ooh, if they hit this, that'll be so fantastic. And they just didn't do it.
No, that's
and
sad.
Oh, you missed
that
out.
would have been good.
You missed out. Because this moment has so much in it. And it just, it was done fine, but
it's very important for Reinhard's growth.
Yeah.
Into the future. Yeah.
As we continue into this review, I just want us to keep our eyes on the clock.
Sorry,
we're getting pretty.
I got excited.
We're all excited.
I mean, all I really wanted else to touch on is the music after this. So
I have one more thing to touch on.
Give your thoughts on
important
this or whatever else.
We need to talk about space battle axes.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
We got space battle axes back.
I fucking love that scene.
And Ruinthal have a great bromance.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
definitely the true pairing of this. I love them.
The OTP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew there was an O and a P. I forgot what went in the middle. I was like, they're the OP OTPs.
The OP OTP.
Exactly. They're great. They're not as cool battle axes as the original with like the bright red like velvetly gushing blood that you see, but it's still pretty cool.
So I guess the original, in like the beginning, there were space battle axes, and when the remake came out, we were like, "Where's our space battle axes?" So it was highly anticipated. I'm happy we got them back.
It was the space battle axes I think I wanted a little more of. I think the reason why I like the first section of the show a little better than the second is because I like the politics. Like, I'm fine with it, but having it be like almost all politics gets a little slow for me. So, like, the first season had the Isserloin, or however you call it,
Isserloin Fortress or whatever.
Infiltration, and that was cool. And there were a couple other battles that were a little more interesting. Like, the first one was really cool, right at the beginning of the first season. So like that's this section of this season when with the, I don't remember his name, but he's just a fucking badass. Like Kratos, little bastard with his huge axe, and he just wanted to kill people. I was like, man, this was like what I want. I wanted maybe another episode or two of just like, let's have some cool fucking battles in space. And they're probably setting up more of that later with all the politics. But it was just the brutalness and the just badassery of the guy with his axe, and he still has his honor, and and it's kind of funny, like he just wants to fight like honorably, and the other side's trying to like use tactics and kind of outsmart him, and he's just like, you cowards, and of course because they know they can't beat the guy, he's a friggin' tank. But so I think like comparing the two seasons, as I'm gonna do, ultimately this is just kind of like my final thoughts, I guess. I think I liked the first season a little more because it was a little more active than the second season. So, I think I'm fine. I think I'd like I understand this is more of a political show than anything, but if I could have it my way, it would be like 65% politics and 35% like the results of the politics, and not so much just the politics. And so I really appreciated this episode, and I really thought like the Artemis necklace scene was pretty neat. Although I'll tell you, that necklace thing was awfully badass, and it went down like a bitch. Like it was just like, here come these meteor rockets, boom, gone.
Some ice cubes.
like the necklace itself was cool, but I was really shocked by how quickly that thing went down. I was like, damn, all it took was a couple like rocket propelled asteroids or whatever that were to just take them out, and I was like, damn, that thing went down like nothing. So that was a little odd, but I still thought they were cool. So yeah. I know this series.
If you want to slap your score on it now, we could.
Yeah,
I can wrap our final thoughts up.
I gave the first season a 4.5 out of 5, and I think that this one it's essentially the same thing. It's just a different section of the story because I realize that this is just one big story being told in pieces.
Oh yeah.
But I'm gonna give it trying to think of something witty. Just to know. How about for
Yang Wen Lee's.
Give me as much brandy as you can fit in that damn. Give me a little bit of tea with my brandy out of 5.
Yeah, there you go. Approved. You can go, Mason.
Yeah. So I was going to touch on it earlier. The opening of the first season was "Binary Star" by Hiroyuki Sawano, and I often talk in life about how there's no such thing as a guilty pleasure. Like if you like something, like it, don't feel guilty. All of Sawano's works is a guilty pleasure for me. It is so formulaic and basic, but I still love it every single time. And this opening, I'm so glad they brought it back because it sounds so big and so good, and I just love the opening of the show so much. The OST proper, it was big and sweeping, but I can't say it was all that memorable. So the music was suitable, but I wouldn't recommend. I'm not going to be going out to get the OST anytime soon. At the end of the day, there was at least one quote in every episode that really stuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
From talking about how in war there's things more valuable than life, but outside the war nothing is more valuable. Just the thoughts of the universe. This show is about not politics. It's not about space battles. It's about the people, and the show continues to excel at that point. I think I found this season better than season 1, only because there was less obvious setting the groundwork. We were already into the plot more, so it was less of a waiting for things to get going. At the end of the day, I feel this is a lot like the last space opera that we reviewed, the original space battleship Yamato, which is you have two versions of a franchise, and this just isn't the superior one. It lacks some of the humanity, it lacks some of the depth, and I just inherently prefer that one. But I can't deny that this adaptation is doing a good job, and it's an excuse to talk about this franchise that I love so much. And at the end of the day, I can't complain with that. Just to make things brief, I'm going to give it the same score that I gave the first season. 3.5 Barbarossas out of 5.
Barbarossas. Yeah, no, same. I prefer the original. I think the original did certain scenes better, and there are more additional scenes in there to flesh out character motivations, especially with Reinhard. There are a lot of scenes in there that give a little bit more depth to Reinhardt's to his motivations. And yeah, and like I thought the OP was pretty good. I like the OP in this one, but I do think the classical music in the original is better. But of course, we are in modern times, so I understand the changes that they are making. But yeah, I still think in both the original and this one, the weakest part of Legend of the Galactic Heroes is the Earth Cult. We didn't talk about them because we get to see only little hints here and there on what the Earth Cult is. I don't like them, and I wish that the whole series would take them out. But yeah, overall, I still think they're doing a really good job just adapting the novels. And I do like, we didn't talk about Oscar's hair. They changed his hair a lot. He looks so much different.
Everyone looks less like noticeable, like, or distinct, I should say.
I think he looks more distinct in this one than the original. You see that hair? That hair is gorgeous. Look, everybody has fantastic hair in this.
That's
but yeah, no, I'm still enjoying it, and if they bring out more, I will definitely watch that. And you guys should check it out. Like on Mal, I think like 800 people put down the season. I was like, what? No one's watching this. What's wrong with you?
They're all behind, probably.
The original, though.
I think I think they're overwhelmed by it.
Probably. It is a very intimidating series to get into. I understand that, but yeah, you should just give it a shot. And I will give it. What am I gonna give it? Four space battle axes out of 5.
There you go.
I love my space battle axes.
It's pretty tough to get people to watch stuff from what is this, like late 70s?
Yeah.
And
late 80s, 90s.
Oh, I missed the whole decade. Holy shit!
It's not that old. It looks good.
I mean,
Enzo, what you got?
And yeah, for my final thoughts on Legend of the Galactic Heroes, it looks pretty good.
Thanks.
You could have watched all of it during this episode.
You could have. Yeah.
Anyway, listener score averaged out to 4.5, and that has done it for episode 521. Yohaku needs you each of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. We talked about the One Punch Man movie. We talked about we had S. Donnelly going down to the wire with those Mitsugi.
Oh shit,
yeah. We talked about some Outlaw Star. We passed some seasonal shows. We ran long like we always do. But even then, if you want more of us, we have bonus content. Come check us out. If you want even more, come to Discord. If you want even more, we have our own Twitters. People, where can we find you?
Yeah, you can find me at Enzo Badia on Twitter and Instagram, ENZOBADIA. Come talk.
I am at AAA_Mandi with an I. I'm looking to change my Twitter handle because it's just a chore. But someone took my name and all the other names I wanted, so I'm still trying.
Mitz, where can people find you?
At Pope Mitsugi. I was Pope Exotic for a while.
Lol.
But I have reclaimed my title of Pope Mitsugi.
Good. Just go to aapodcast.com, click on the links, find everything you want, and we will see you again next week. Thanks so much for hanging out. Have a good one.
Boys.
Peace out.
Yang
Peace.
gang out.
Oh, hell yeah. Yang for life.
Don't be pulling that on me.
Yang for life.
R.I.P.
Yang Whitley's better.
Looking sexy in that beret.
Hell yeah.